Hello, everyone. How is everyone doing? Oh my gosh, I can hear myself so well. Can you hear me? Yes, you should be able to, but let me know how the sound is. Welcome to the club sesh. It's me, your host, Vanessa, and we have an interesting topic today. I think you'll understand why we're talking about it the more you sit here with me. I gotta put my Fenty on, and I'm gonna take a boop. You know it. How's it going? Madam Dram has Bonbon. She's okay. She's not great. We're icing her knee. We're definitely icing it a lot. And I have an appointment either for Friday. The physical therapist I reach out to for her veterinarian physical therapist, acupuncturist, has COVID. It's going around. Get vaccinated. But she's been kind of like unavailable. I had tried to make an appointment with her for a while. She has really good reviews online. So like that's encouraging, but the response trying to book her has been difficult. But there was another couple I reached out to too. So if Friday she's not, like her COVID test doesn't clear up, I have an appointment for Tuesday for Bonbon because I don't, thanks, Jaden. I don't want her. Hi, Patricia. My day is going well. Other than Bonbon, it really it bums me out. You know, she's just been running around a lot. She loves to play, and she has this knee problem, and she's had it since she was little. You know, it happened. She's just fast, and you know, I think we don't think about stretching our dogs and like massaging them and stuff like that. I didn't grow up massaging my dog. But if you think about muscles, like their muscles are just like our muscles. So they need to be massaged and they need to be stretched. And I mean, she does little stretches, but not sufficient. And, you know, things just get tight, pulls on their joints. She's taken all the things. She's taken CBD. She's taken green lipped muscle or whatever it's called. And how's the chat looking? It's looking okay. I don't like how that looks, actually. I'm going to pull this down to there. Pull that down. That's better. And did I make myself a little small? Sorry, guys. I'm kind of still futzing with things. Not intentionally. What is that? Huh. Delete. And we'll delete the Bonbon Cam. She's not coming on today. She's just going to chill. She's sleeping on the couch. I am not moving her, trying not to move her. When I ice her, I'm like trying to slip it under her so that I don't have to move her leg. Just trying to keep the baby happy. All right. So I set up, let's see how this looks. I set up this boop scene. Yeah, it's active. Shit. I forgot to go live on Instagram. Oops. Yeah. And then it should let me go live. Want to make sure I go live on Instagram too. There we go. Okay. So we're live on Instagram. We're live on Twitch. Should be. Says unstable. I don't know why. Fuck. I swear. I'm wondering sometimes like it's funny. Oh, I guess you guys can't see me. I was gonna boop, but sometimes it's funny. The streams kind of like do what they want. The OBS like switches things back. If you know what I'm talking about, then you know what I'm talking about. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then you don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, so today we are talking about ADHD and cannabis, and whether or not it is beneficial to use cannabis basically as a way to help with ADHD. Uh, there are some studies on it, not too many. And of course, I am not a doctor. Pro streamer, thanks, algorithm. Woohoo. I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to give any medical advice, but I personally feel like I use cannabis to self-medicate just to kind of my cousin once said to me, "Oh, it makes me feel normal." And I didn't really understand what she meant by that. I'm like, "Doesn't it just make you feel stoned?" And it doesn't make me like people will be like, "I can't really tell you're stoned unless I've really been like hitting the dab rig hard." I just kind of seem normal, like less spazzy, less all over the place, just more chill and able to focus on things. I know that sounds so weird to be like, oh, you smoke weed to focus, but yeah. Anyway, so we're going to look into it today. And thank you, Al. Yeah, we've really set up this stream so it looks great. I love it. Got the little chat here. I've got the Instagram is going. I can't really see. I'm sorry, Instagram, if you're messaging me, I can't really see. So I am not so much checking the chat on Instagram, but if you're watching me there, come on over to YouTube because that's where it's happening. All right, let me boop first. Let me drink some water. I always say, let me, as if you guys are holding me down and telling me you're not allowed to drink any water. It's like my brain. That's what it is. It's my brain telling all the other things in my brain that are going like, you got to do this and then you got to do that and you got to do this and you got to do that. Like, hey, I need to drink some water. I need to take a boop. Sometimes you have to remind yourself that you're the boss. My little dab hot knife is right here, so I'm going to grab it. 1 secondo. Okay, so I have the Puffco. I have a couple of rigs actually. I have so many different rigs. I have the Dr. Dabber Switch 2 is with Nina and she loves it. Dr. Dabber, thank you for sending that. Also, I have the Puffco Daybreak. And so I just washed this. I'm going to do that so that it'll kind of burn off the alcohol. Alexander Donaldson. My grandma just ordered your book for my birthday. I'm in Scotland. It's going to be limited. So it's going to be limited. Oh, yeah. I wonder what kind of flower. That's awesome. Your grandma sounds really cool. I'm kind of jealous. I think a lot of us use weed for the same thing as you. Thanks, Madam Dram. You know what? I think a lot of us do. And sometimes I think people might not even know. I didn't know, right? I had no idea what was going on in my brain until recently, and I started looking into it and I was like, this really sounds like me. These are all things I've dealt with my whole life. And it's kind of runs in the family, but always being late. We were called the late Laverados. Lots of things. Clumsy, forgetful, distracted, unless I'm really interested in a topic. And like, obviously I'm very interested in edibles and how to cook with cannabis. And so that became my like hyper focus. So when I was writing the book, I had to have like a real schedule. And luckily I was working with this wonderful woman, Naomi Tomke, and she just really helped me stay focused on the book. I'm looking something up. Sorry. yeah, she's taking a little nap on the couch. That's good. And I'm just kind of hanging out here. Oh, yeah, I was going to take a boot. See, you can kind of see it as we go. You see what's going on and what the conversation is going to be like today. And that's cool. We love it. How's Instagram doing? Hi, Instagram. Come on over. Come on over, baby. Okay, so we got papaya bomb. This is rosin tech. Actually, I'm going to go to the boop. And before I go, let me put this in the chat. I'll put it, I think I can put this in both chats. Paste and send. And then I'm going to pin this tweet or this, I always call everything a tweet. Pin that comment in the chat. It's pinned in the Twitch chat as well. It's to my cookbook and it's to my Patreon, the Edibles Club. That's what makes everything possible. Hi, Justice Reigns. Booping with me. Yes. Okay, so let me go. I made this boop scene. I actually did it for, oh, wait. Instagram's is kind of shitty kitty. Let me see if I can make yours bigger. I don't want you to see this. There. Oh, that's my phone. Okay, so we got our boop scene here. So this is some rosin tech. I'm almost done it. So I wonder if the light is going to be good. Here, I'll use my cell phone to shine a light into this rosin. That's how high tech we are, okay? Because you guys need to see what's going on. Oh, maybe that's too bright. Shit. And so it is. Shit, motherfucker. Sorry. Oh, man. Where do I get it? It's too bright. Okay, we'll try it without. Let's see if you can kind of see it. I'm not very good at figuring out what direction to turn this container because I'm trying to get the light a little bit too. Maybe if I hit it from over here. Whatever. There's like a baby boop in here. Okay, there's a baby boop. So we're going to take this baby boop and we're going to put it in. I have to get a new cord for the boop camera so that it's more, it's a little bit delayed. Okay. It doesn't matter though, because we're just booping. That's a decent size boop, my friends. Do you like, I've got my Fenty, got my boops. Okay, I haven't used this one in a little bit. I like to pulse it. This is the Puffco hot knife. I like the placement and that they're, now I charged this, so it better work. Otherwise, I'm just going to drop it in, but I like it when it melts in. Don't do it to me, Puffco. I charged you. I don't like to do it this way because you end up leaving rosin. I know that's like really stingy of me, like being very like, but hey, waste not, want not, okay? Product is money. Back to the main sesh. Okay, so we got our boop. Oh shit, I did the focus V. Well, we're going to switch that. I don't want to do it in this. No offense, focus V. This is technically, so rosin tech is pressed by the people who do focus V. But I want to I choose you, Puffco, for now. Depends on my mood. Sometimes I want the Puffco, and sometimes I want the Carta, and sometimes I want the Dr. Dabba, and I can do whatever I want. Ready? Boop. It's time to boop. Oh, wait. Do I have a sound effect? I love it. I love it. This is my stream. This is my club sesh. If you send a super chat, your name goes on the board in cursive. Hi, Becky. Oh. I wonder what it is that like shuts everything up in my head when I do that. I don't know. Maybe we'll find out. Let's learn what ADHD is. Like what's going on in our brains when you have it. Now, I am not diagnosed. I'm self-diagnosing myself. I've had plenty of people try to diagnose me from the outside who you don't do that. Okay? Don't tell people. Although I did do that to my mom. Oh well, whatever. It's my mom. But just try to look at yourself and be like, be curious about yourself and maybe encourage people. Be like, hey, you should talk to it. You ever hear about this? And it's funny. People will say they think they have it. Oh yeah, I didn't know. I thought ADHD meant like what? If you listen to Mel Robbins has a podcast about this. And she talks about how because all of the studies, a lot of medicine is done on men, on boys. It's not done on women for just a number of things. And so the way things show up is it shows up differently for little boys than it does for girls because of a lot of reasons, I'm sure hormones, I'm sure how we are treated as a gender, how we're treated in families, etc. All of those things impact how something will surface or express itself. Just like here's a good analogy. Think about like with plants, right? You put them in different conditions, you'll see different, even though they might have the same divergence, let's call it that, or whatever. Then it can be expressed differently. So that's what they really see with, oh, good girl, Bonbon. Is that your left leg? I really want to put on the ice pack again. How many hours has it been? Not yet. I'm trying to put it on like 2 to 4 hours, 3 times a day, 2 to 4 hours. Anyway, got distracted by the Bonbon. Who can resist the Bonbon? She's so cute. She's my little angel. And we're going to get her better. Don't you worry. Anyway, so hi, Nigel, Zarita. Welcome. Got a lot of people here. Hola, Coca-Cola. Why am I Coca-Cola? That's what they used to say about me in high school. That's what they would say. If that's the reason that they said it about me in high school, well, whatevs. What to say about that? It always makes me a little uncomfortable. Hi, Lance Sisler. How's it going? All right, what did I want to look up before we go into this? Lance, like, I take that back. It makes her uncomfortable. Whatever. It's just like, I don't know. It does. You know what? It does. I don't want to talk about my body. Thanks. I didn't choose it. Okay? I didn't pick it. If I could pick any body and like anything, it could be anything ever. I don't know. Probably like a really big guy. Because then, the world's kind of set up differently for you. Okay. Not always, though. We all have different experiences. Let's all try to be a little bit more empathetic. Unless you're an asshole. And then leave me alone. Okay. I'm going on a tangent. And that's kind of the point of today. Drink your water. Also a point of today. Remember to drink your water. And let's dive in to ADHD and cannabis. Let's explore what the research says, some real life stories, and just kind of learn. I like to learn. It's important. I think we kind of have this idea that you stop learning after you get out of school, right? You're like, okay, I finished whatever you finish in school. I'm done learning. It's like, no, life is always just keep learning, learn a new language. You can learn, some artists didn't start painting until they were in their 50s and then they became, world renowned artists. So you can really do anything at any age, and staying curious is part of it. So in having ADHD, there are some silver linings to it. So we're going to get into all of this. I was agreeing with you at the time. Oh, okay. At the time. Okay. All right. I wanted to know, I'm going to put something in the poll, in the chat poll. Just typing up a little thing for the chat. Have you or anyone used cannabis to manage ADHD symptoms? Yes. Yes. Someone I know. Yes. Me. Nope. Okay. And start poll. All right, now it's going to show that. So let me get rid of that. Oops. And then I wish I could get rid of a can. Just give me a second, you guys. We don't even need that. Let's do that. I just want to see what you guys have to say. All right. So I was just putting a poll in the chat. We've got 40%. Yes, someone I know. That's very cool. Let's see what else we got. Me, 20%. Cool. Nope, 40%. Awesome. All right. So today's going to be interesting. Very interesting. So, I did that. And now we're going to go into a video. We've got the poll going and we're going to see what it says. I usually have my hair down today, but here, I'll show you. I'll put it down if it's still too frizzy. I washed it yesterday for the sesh with Laganja. That was so fun. The Zazanella. Oops. Lost a pin. This is my hair not like blow dried. So it gets kind of like wavy and sometimes a little curly. But it does make it easier to like pin up. It's got more texture to it. So we're just going to pin it up today. I liked it before. I shouldn't have touched it. Hair's like that. You gotta like leave it when it looks good. You just gotta leave it. Oh well, it's going down. Let's let it relax. Let's let it hang out. It's gonna hang out with all of us. Smoke up. Oh, absorb some of the dabs. Okay, so, it kind of looks like a wig. Oh my God, it's so big. All right, there we go. Oh, Fraggle Rock. Let my hair down. How's it going? Nice to see you. There you go. On the board. A little messy. It's a little messy today, but that's okay. Love it. Thank you. That's very cute. Looks like Bonbon. She's totally passed out. She's just been resting. We haven't, normally we go for a couple of walks. We go for a walk twice a day. But with this knee, not so much. I'm trying to separate it. I like the bang, but I don't want the hair under my ear with this. There we go. It's a little. Okay, so sorry, I'm very distracted. I just want to see this is good. Let's see this. I'm going to read this to you. We're going to go. I was going to watch a video, but this is better. You like it when I read to you sometimes. Let me move this up. Actually, we can make this bigger. Oops. There we go. And move me over. I'm going to go to you guys here. We're live on YouTube. Put this in the thing. You can't really see Instagram, what we're reading, but don't worry. Don't you worry. I'm going to read it to you. So this is the evaluation of efficacy of cannabis use in patients with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, a systematic review. Abstract. Cannabis is frequently used by people who self-medicate for the signs of mental health conditions, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and neurodevelopmental illness. Has been linked to increased cannabis use. What's this going to say? It's going to be like anti-weed. When was this posted? Hey, Fraggle Rock. Oh, wait, no. I use weed to help Oops. Sorry, you guys. I didn't mean to do that. I always forget how to get rid of it. There we go. I use weed to help manage my ADHD, but sometimes I'm not sure if it helps more or hurts. Well, we're going to look into it. We're going to read this even though this is 2023. Okay, so this is it's not that old. It's like, June, 2 years old. Let's look at, however, compared to other mental disorders, cannabis used by people with ADHD has received much less research. Okay, the main goal of the systematic review was to understand the nature of the relationships between cannabis use and ADHD symptoms. We use preferred reporting items for systematic reviews and meta-analysis Prisma guidelines to conduct the systematic review. Okay, we'll have to look into what Prisma means. We included papers published with the previous 10 years from online researches on, Google Scholar. So they're listing their sources. Very good. The inclusion and exclusion criteria led to the initial selection of 136 studies. We selected 20 research articles after screening and assessing them using quality assessment techniques. These articles included 2 non-randomized control trials, 1 cross-sectional study, 1 meta-analysis, and 16 observational cohorts. It can be advantageous for people with ADHD and their medical professionals to understand better how ADHD patients use cannabis and its potential risks and advantages on cannabis use disorder. Okay, so that's the thing. Like, cannabis use disorder is definitely something like the medical industry. Let's look this up. Don't worry. That's not. Let's see. Marijuana use disorder encompasses a range of harmful patterns of cannabis use, ranging from mild to severe, is characterized to be by the continued use of cannabis despite significant negative impacts on a person's life, health, and relationships. Okay, so let's see. Impaired control. This includes using cannabis in larger amounts for a longer period than intended and unsuccessful attempts to cut down or control use and spending excessive time. Okay, but like, what if you're using cannabis medicinally? Like, why would I want to cut down my use and spending excessive time obtaining? It wouldn't be so, if it was like, that's not fair. It's if people are spending excessive time trying to obtain cannabis, it's because they're not in a legal state. It takes me 0 time to obtain cannabis. I just go down to the shop and I get it. Anyway, social impairment. Continue cannabis use despite social or interpersonal problems caused or exacerbated by it. Well, how can you know if it's caused by that? Okay, maybe it is. Maybe your partner is like mad at you for smoking or something. Maybe the problem's your partner. Hey, Joe, this is often the juxtaposition with the medical world and weed. It can be rough. I know. I just don't want to be biased, right? I've been called, like, people are like, you just are pro cannabis because you sell it. You sell a cookbook on it. I'm curious. Let's see what they have to say. Everything in moderation, even moderation it's good to read and see what people have to say, and especially medical professionals. They devote their life to this, so let's at the very least, read what they have to say and understand it, and then take from it what we want, not what we want, but what it says. Because that can go a lot of ways. We selected 20 research articles after screening, blah, blah, blah. So I'm not so concerned about cannabis use disorder. That sounds like something like some reefer madness. That's the part that hurts. It's like, that's awesome native herb and hike chats. That's really cool. Joe Anklam, it really helps me regulate in many ways, which would probably always be better than other methods of medicating, at least in my experience. I mean, I think it just really, I don't want to, if someone needs to take ADHD medication or not needs to, they find it works for them, right? Life is really hard. So whatever works for you, I think that's what you should do. And if you like your doctor and you trust them, you trust yourself, I think talking to having someone to talk to is really good. Therapy, exercise. Personally, for me, I found that exercise unlocked something for me. I always thought it was just like, I don't know. I was like, oh, I'm exercising again. I thought the exercise was making things go better in my life. And it was, but I thought it was like some kind of like magic thing. I'm like, my body is looking better. So now the world is better. And not that pretty privilege isn't real, but it was more so my brain was working better, so I was able to respond to emails and just kind of be more on top of things, because I was moving my body, and that is, in a way, I find it to be a type of meditation, and meditation definitely helps. So, your shot rocks, girl. What? Hi, Cannabis Cowboy. Oh, Lance. Oh, okay, yeah. Do you know anyone who's missed their kid's birthday because they were smoking weed? I guess that happens. That's definitely not something that is an issue for me. Weed helps me get stuff done. I love to exercise after smoking. I feel like Superwoman. Yeah, it really helps me lock in. I'm holding that plank and I'm like, you can do it. What's 30 seconds? What's a minute? What's, just you kind of block everything out and you get into the zone. Whereas if I don't smoke, I'll just walk off. I like to work out at home. I got my YouTube girlies that I watch. And they they keep me in relatively good shape. Some light weights. I do like heavier weights, but in the future. Okay, so we got a lot going on in the chat. A lot happening. A lot of yes me. Cool. That is very cool. Lance, what is rare? What are you talking about? What's rare? Oh, okay. It is rare. Yeah, the cannabis use disorder. Okay, so I just kind of want to ignore that from this from this article. So let's take that in mind. Let's keep that in mind. Attention deficit disorder is a prevalent psychiatric disorder among children, with some cases persisting into adulthood. I would think like most. According to the diagnostic, what would change from childhood to adulthood where you would all of a sudden not have it? According to the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, 6 or more symptoms of inattention, such as making careless mistakes and or hyperactivity, such as restlessness in children up to the age of 16, indicate ADHD. Okay, blah, blah. About 90% of ADHD patients also have co-occurring mental problems as frequent comorbidity, according to reports. Okay. With ADHD use drug or alcohol regularly. Right. So this is what's interesting to me. So the general population and up to 50% of adults with ADHD use drugs or alcohol, which is a drug, regularly. Moreover, ADHD has been identified in about 23% of people with substance use disorders. Several processes might be at play in the elevated risk of SUD in ADHD. Neurobiological theories claim that an imbalance in dopaminergic neurotransmission is the root cause of both diseases. The self-medication hypothesis, which claims that people with ADHD may try various illegal substances and find that some help them with problematic emotional or affective states, is the reason for the association between drug use and this theory. After tobacco and alcohol, cannabis misuse, hate that word, cannabis use is the most frequent of them. Like, yeah, okay. And like, what do they give you? Usually you get Adderall, right? Love your show, Sal Khalifas, 100. Thank you and God bless. Thank you. Hi, Chris Core. Our prefrontal cortex doesn't develop till 26 or something like that. I see. And it's like you have too much gray matter in your prefrontal cortex, right? We're going to look into it. All right, cool. Compared to children without ADHD, individuals with ADHD had nearly 3 times the likelihood of, compared to children. Yeah, duh. Of course, children aren't using cannabis. I mean, unless they have a prescription from a doctor. It's funny. I'm looking to quit alcohol and tobacco for cannabis because it helps me so much more. Yeah, alcohol and tobacco are definitely not helping you, my friend. And it's always good to sometimes it's good to talk to people about that. Have someone to help you stay not drink alcohol. Alcohol's hard. It's really hard. It wasn't ever my thing, thankfully. I feel really very, very grateful. I liked it, when I was younger, but then my body just was like, ha ha ha, if you have more than this, you're going to throw up a lot in embarrassing times. And I like to smoke so much. So that definitely doesn't help with the throw up. Anyone else, if you read my book, you know what I'm talking about. Anyone else get diagnosed by family as a space case all the time? All the time. Space case, no attention. Oh, when Vanessa tells a story, she goes up because she sees a butterfly and gets distracted. That kind of thing. Okay, blah, blah, some more reefer madness. Search strategy. We performed in-depth searches in Science Direct, PubMed, Medline, PubMed Central, blah, blah. Okay. We employ the right keywords. Okay. So this is just a compilation of other research. They didn't. Okay, that's cool. Let's keep going because that's good. They did it for us. PubMed, attention, search strategy. So they're telling how they're searching. Cool. Okay. Study quality appraisal. We evaluated every study for bias. Okay, so they have a whole algorithm. That's cool. Bias algorithm. Okay, cool. So there's a high bias AHR. Wow. I just want to see the results. Thank you. Okay, but no, can you analyze it? According to several studies, most people with ADHD also have additional mental illnesses. Okay, thanks. With learning impairments, oppositional behavior, drug abuse, and anxiety being prevalent comorbidities. Figure 2 describes children in ADHD perform poorly in a variety of this is not a very nice article. Imaging studies have also revealed a wide range of variations of neurodevelopment in patients with ADHD, including changes in the structural organization of the brain, as well as variations in the activation patterns of attentional networks and executive functions, including hypoactivation in the bilateral frontal, right parietal, right temporal, and bilateral putamen. Okay, so there's two different types, right? Let's read this. Inattentive type. Ready? Inattentive. 6 or more symptoms of inattention for children up to age 16, or 5 or more for adolescents 17 and older, and adults. Symptoms of inattention have been present for at least 6 months, and they are inappropriate for developmental. Who says? Who says they're inappropriate? Often fails to give close attention to details or makes careless mistakes in schoolwork, at work, or with other activities. Often has trouble holding attention on tasks or play activities. Often does not seem to listen when spoken to directly. Often does not follow through on instructions and fails to finish schoolwork, chores, or duties. In the workplace, loses focus, sidetracked. Often has trouble organizing tasks and activities. Often avoids dislikes or is reluctant to do tasks that require mental effort over a long period of time, such as schoolwork or homework. Often loses things necessary for tasks and activities. Okay, yeah. I thought this was just like being a kid. Is often easily distracted, is often forgetful in daily activities. Hyperactive impulsive type. 6 or more symptoms of hyperactivity, impulsivity. So this is what I associated with it. Often fidgets with or taps hands or feet, or squirms in seat. Often leaves seat in situations when remaining seated is expected. Often runs about or climbs in situations where it is not appropriate. Often unable to play or take part in leisure activities quietly. Is often on the go, acting as if driven by a motor. Often talks excessively. Often blurts out an answer before a question has been completed. Often has trouble waiting his or her turn. Often interprets or intrudes on others, butts into conversations or games. I feel like that's like both of me. Both of us got all of it. Several inattentive or hyperactive impulsive symptoms were present before age 12. In addition, the following conditions must be met. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so these were the conditions. Several symptoms were present in 2 or more settings. There's clear evidence that the symptoms interfere with or reduce the quality of social, school, or work functioning. Yeah, all of those things were a big issue. Big issue. And then I set up systems in my life so that they weren't such a big issue anymore. Just like, you know, they still are, but whatever. And I smoke a lot of weed. In addition, we already read that. Cannabis effect on the human brain. Okay. Regular cannabis use during adolescence is associated with diminished verbal and working memory and sustained attention. Teenage cannabis usage may change the brain circuitry that controls motivation, impulsivity, processing rewards, reaction inhibition, and processing speed. Does it? The amount of gray matter in the hippocampus and amygdala of young adults who use cannabis heavily is inversely connected with their use. There have been various cortical locations where less cerebral blood flow has been noticed. Okay. Huh. Inattention, cannabis symptoms, problem maintaining attention. But then why would we use something to decrease blood flow in certain regions of the brain? Maybe we want that. Okay. Also sounds. Okay, let's see. Structural changes in the brain. Numerous studies defined neurodevelopmental outcomes to include neuroimaging, cognitive testing, and questionnaire-based research to capture the developmental or functional effects of cannabis use on young people with ADHD. Rasmussen et al. Found that cannabis use was associated with the diagnosis of ADHD in the right hippocampus and cerebellar vermis with higher activation of these regions in cannabis using controls during appropriate response inhibition. What does that mean? Similar findings were reported by Newman et al., who found that despite go-no-go performance, persistent ADHD symptoms and more frequent cannabis use were associated with a narrower caudal inferior frontal gyrus. What does that mean? What the fuck is a narrower? Let's find out. Narrower caudal inferior frontal gyrus. What the fuck does that mean? A narrower caudal inferior frontal gyrus can be seen in some neurodevelopmental conditions like autism and ADHD, potentially indicating a thinner cortex. This finding suggests a possible link between alterations in this brain region, which is involved in functions like speech production, and inhibitory control. So they're saying they think cannabis caused that? Like, I don't understand what they're trying to say. So let's look at what the hell this says. No, that didn't link to anything. Do you know what I mean? Like, what is it? Okay, so similar finding reported by Newman, who found that despite go-no-go performance, persistent ADHD and more frequent cannabis use were associated with a narrower. So they're saying it like means you won't get as much of that feel-good feeling when you complete an activity. Now we're in the meat and potatoes, Jaden. We're really looking into it. Is that why I always order DoorDash on these streams? Is that why we get the munchies? Because our impulse control, like we can't. I thought that was because cannabis released. This feels very anti-weed, but that's okay. We're still reading because we're staying curious. And I want to know what this impact of ADHD and cannabis use on executive functioning in young adults. Oops. Oh, well. Let's see this. I just want to see what their methods were. Young adults with a childhood ADHD diagnosis and did not... Wait. Background is... The greatest cognitive impairment is expected among ADHD cannabis users compared to those with ADHD only, cannabis use only, or neither. They're like, you guys are really impairing your brains. We're like, bring it on. Oh, okay. Young adults with a childhood ADHD diagnosis who did and did not report past year monthly cannabis use were compared on neuropsychological measures to a local normative comparison group who did and did not report past year regular cannabis use. Age, gender, IQ, socioeconomic status, and past year alcohol and smoking were statistical covariates. Sorry, it took me a minute with that word. The ADHD group performed worse than performed how? LNCG on verbal, memory, processing speed, cognitive interference, decision making, working memory, and response inhibition. Bring me on. No significant effects of cannabis use emerged. Wait, what? I'm confused. The ADHD group then interactions between ADHD and cannabis were non-significant. Wait, excuse me. Am I reading this right? Interactions between ADHD and cannabis were non-significant, but then it says the greatest is expected. And that's why I glazed over that. Is expected. Look at these biased assholes. The greatest cognitive impairment is expected among ADHD cannabis users compared to those with and then you get to the fucking results, and then these bozos over here who are glomming everything together into one big article, hoping that we won't take the time to go and read the other article and see what the conclusion says, not what the expectation is. And the conclusion says, results. The ADHD group performed worse than LNCG on verbal, blah, 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 all those things. No significant effects for cannabis use emerged. Nothing. Interactions, and like, I know, sounds like I'm being biased, but I just want to say it doesn't make a difference. And so they're making a lot of assumptions. And that's not cool. We're going to ignore that. I'm glad we read that together so we could all see that together, how that was being done, right? That's not cool. So it doesn't conclusion. A childhood diagnosis of ADHD, but not cannabis use in adulthood, was associated with executive dysfunction. Earlier initiation of cannabis use may be linked to poor cognitive outcomes, and a significantly greater proportion of the ADHD group began using cannabis before age 16. Yeah, because we're using it because we have ADHD. Regular cannabis use starting after age 16 may not be sufficient to aggravate long-standing cognitive deficits characteristics of ADHD. Duh. Ugh, so gross. And that's the thing, like when people post online and I see stuff, I always respond, they're like, you're so biased, whatever. I'm like, no, you're biased. It's you who is biased against this plant, and it's not studied, and people want to assume that it's bad for your brain and it's causing this and it's causing that. Oh, cannabis causes ADHD. Fuck, they'd love to say that. They would love to say that. So, there are some things, like, I'm not trying to say that cannabis is a panacea. It's not a cure-all for anything, but it does help a lot of things. Okay? And it's understudied, and it has been demonized for bad reasons, really stupid reasons, evil reasons. Yeah, cannabis cowboy. Thank you. I feel like this is a very informative sesh. You're on the board. Cannabis cowboy is on the board. Sorry, that was loud. Okay. So that was stupid. We did not like that. Cannabis causes extreme KC. I'm going to hide that. We're just going to, I'm putting you in timeout for 5 minutes. Okay, Casey, you're in timeout. You're lucky because last time I got a little block happy. Thank you. Yeehaw. Okay. I'm going to bring you back to the boop station, people. We're going back to my messy boop station. Boop it. I love this scene that I've got going on here. A lot of messy situation. Okay, so I'm trying to keep it in the scene I got another rosin tech. I like their rosin. I like a lot of different types of rosin, but the store that I have, it's kind of like this or 710, but like, sorry, unless you guys are really going to be sending me some super chats, I can't do that 710. All right, I'm also getting a little hungry. So what should I order? Joe Anklam from Twitch says, I do, but sometimes I'm not sure if it helps more than it hurts, is what he said. And, oh, there we go. Let me put this, okay, keep it in there. You guys can kind of see. Let me see if I can shine a little light on it. Shine a light on you. Ooh. Boo, boo, boo. Do, do. Ooh, ooh. Oh, it's the rosin. Boo, 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 boo. Ba, 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 ba. Dee, 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 dee. I remember when I was decarbing a rosin and I wanted to show people how to decarb rosin, and I put it on Instagram, and all these people are like, that looks like shit. I was like, it's food grade. They're like, what is food grade? I'm like, you can't get it. That's what it is. They don't sell it in the dispensaries because it's for edible makers. Okay? It's not what you smoke. It's what you cook with, my friends, because this shit is expensive. Why would I cook with it? I want to smoke it. Well, I want to vape it. Dab it. Okay, there's my boop. Let me show you my boop. I got to show you guys the boop. Should I put boop on a t-shirt? Okay. Oh, wait, this thing's not working. Come on, Puffco. Whatever, we're going to wipe it in. And I'm going to plug this thing in because it doesn't want to do it. Boop. That was a little late. We put this on. Okay, this one will do the focus fee. Why not? Why not? Let's go to the main. Let's go to the main. I'm going to plug this baby in. How's everyone doing? Oh, Akella Woods here. Nice to see you. I just got back to the crib with dirty... What? Not happy about my culinary choices. Oh, Burger King? Is that what you meant? It's okay. Sometimes you got to do that. It's okay. Listen, decision already made. Were you really hungry? Were you so hungry that you were like, I don't care. I don't give a fuck. I want that burger. I've been there. And that's what happens. And we got to plan ahead. You know? Yep. I've been there. I've done that. And just enjoy it. You did it. Just enjoy it. Enjoy it. Plan better. It's all about planning. Having snacks on you. Having things you like to eat. It's hard. It's really hard. Life is hard, isn't it? It's a hard life. But I'm hungry. Sometimes the burger overlords make the decision for you. Yeah. Okay, let me go into DoorDash. Thank you everyone for the stream last night, for the super chats. That was really fun with Laganja. She is the best. I love her. It was really fun. She was great. Great in the kitchen. Really great. Just all she needs to do is cook more and she's a pro. You know, very easy to teach. Okay, so I could get Indian food. Should I get Indian food? Hi, JL Sanders. How's it going? Casey, don't make me mute you again. Don't make me do it. I like it. It's fun for me. You want a little spanking? I can do that. Keep going. Keep telling me about your hard on. Oh, good. She was awesome. That was so fun. It just like we'd been planning for a while to cook together, and it's just hard. She works really, really hard, and people don't really, she deserves more credit. I know she's got a ton of followers and all that, but that doesn't mean shit. It doesn't mean anything if you're not making money, if those followers aren't supporting your work, all of that. And she thought the stream was really cool. So thank you for showing her love. I, did my best to make sure she had a good time, felt taken care of. She's a queen and a very talented dancer, performer, musician, entertainer. So I was very honored to have her on the show. And I'll try to get more guests to come on, you know. We'll get the mics right. And yeah. All right, Casey, you better start sending me some fucking super chats because like this is not OnlyFans, okay? And I don't want to even know what's going on. So just you if you want that, I'll be a fin. That's what it's going to be. And you better start sending me some fucking money. Okay? There you go. Jaden, she's the best. Uh-oh. No. Oh, someone's walking up the stairs and Bonbon was like, even though her knee is not feeling good, she's still, what the fuck? I just got a commercial in the middle of the stream. Oh yeah, JL Sanders. I put on advertising. There's going to be commercial breaks. I thought it was supposed to like give me a warning. Me? Wait, why am I a dingus? Wait, why am I a dingus? What? I don't know what to tell you guys. I got to pay my bills. It's going to happen. That's what other streamers do. They have commercial breaks. Okay? I've been streaming a lot. I threw in another stream. I threw in an extra stream this week. Although Saturday I'm going to be at Cannabis. The dog. Bonbon. She's okay. She's not a dingus. That's her job. But I do want to put some ice on her leg. So I'm going to get a video for us. Says Becky Wiz. Says it right. Love you, Beck. Okay, so I'm going to play us a video because I'm going to get some more water for myself and I'm going to get her a little ice pack and put her little ice pack on her knee. What's for dinner, Madam Dram? I know what should I get? Okay, here's our options, right? We can do a lot of things. It's LA. I can do whatever. Give me some ideas. You guys always give me good ideas. Let me write your name on the board. Boo, boo, boo. Let's put you in green. I'm going to put you up here. Yeah. Thank you for the super chat. Okay, so. Oh, it's an enduring term. Okay, yeah. She's very fierce. Bonbon is a fierce dog, and she protects me. So if she sees anyone walk by the door, she's going to chat, or she's going to bark. Hasholio, why do you need super chats? What happened to the Who's the Boss TV show money? Oh, that's cute. How much do you think I got paid per episode of Bong Appetit? So curious. How much do you think I got paid to co-host a TV show? Well, I know what the host made, which was a lot more in the first couple of seasons than what I made, even though I was like having the chefs come on and all of that. And like, listen, I didn't have a following. I was just an edible maker that they found. Whatever. So curious what you think I made. TV money. People are ridiculous. You need a Vice? You think I made a bunch of TV money from Vice? Okay. About $350. Pretty close. Yeah. Was those meals and the trips to set? My assumption is your payment was those meals. Well, come on, man. I cooked those meals. That like makes me feel so shitty. Like, do you think that's like I had to cook that? I worked my ass off. Yeah, standard woman rates. That's exactly right, Madam Dram. All these men need to shut the fuck up. You work for nothing. You just work in the kitchen. Just fucking cook and be happy. You should be happy you're cooking. You should do it for free. Just do it because you love it. You get to cook this dinner for everybody. Did you I only ate that dinner once. I only sat down at that dinner table one time, maybe twice. Of the first season, one time. Anyway, Patreon has been really supportive of me. I've had really good sponsors over the years. Maybe you've seen some of that content on my Instagram. I've certainly not kept doing this. I also wrote a book, and I know a lot of people think that I am making hand over fist with that book. No, I put money into that book. Look at the photography. Look at the quality of the photography. Okay? I did not skimp. I didn't skimp on anything with that book because I believe in it, because I think cannabis deserves to be elevated. I hate using that word because it's so overused, but I truly believe it needs to be put on a higher level so people take it seriously and they start researching it more seriously instead of this bullshit we just read right here. And we can get it not rescheduled, but descheduled and treated like tobacco and alcohol, which are, they kill us. So cannabis is not, they were like, we're sure it causes ADHD. And then they couldn't prove it, but it's still being used to say that it does that. So anyway, Kyle, me too now. No, I know you worked for years to even get your foot in the door. Yeah. I was trying to say you look like Alyssa Milano from the TG show, Who's the Boss? I had no idea what you're talking about. Sorry. I thought you were asking me where's all your, no, dude, that's not what you said. Why do you need super chats? I don't know. Why do you need to pay your bills? Why do you need to pay your rent? Why do you need why do you need to eat? I'm sitting here, I'm spending time with you. We're researching something together. People appreciate my time and spending time with me, that I'm spending my Wednesday night and have been doing this for a really long time to research different topics, to learn things together, to get stoned together, all of that. I'm pretty tired because I also did a live yesterday. I cooked a whole thing with a really good friend of mine, and we performed for 3-4 hours. Okay. And I believe in this. I like to do this. I think it's interesting, and I like to learn with everybody. I think it has value, but your comment, was pretty clear what you're trying to say, and you can backpedal all you want, but I'll let you know I'm not fucking stupid. So, I made $250. That's how much. Okay. To be on TV, cable. A day. So I made $500 total per episode. And I worked over 8 hours. So, I know that sounds like a lot, and it's not. I was happy. I was like, yes, I'll do it gladly. And I did it, and I'm happy to do it. But it's not like I'm like, I can retire now with $500. What was that? We did 8 episodes or something. I don't remember how many episodes we did in the first season. Okay, so I can't really retire with $5,000 if we did 10 episodes. I don't remember how many episodes we did. That's honey bun money. I've been self-medicating for ADHD for 30 days. Elliot Jackson. What does that mean? Because knowledge isn't free. I mean, it's my work. Yeah. It's just, this is what I do. I like it. It's fun. I like to look at this kind of stuff. And I was going to put on a video because I want to ice my dog's knee and I want to get some water. And let's learn more about ADHD and cannabis, because clearly there's a lot that needs to be learned about this. And that's not a slight advice. I was not tested on camera. I had never been on camera before. And so they didn't know, but that's a PA day rate. This is Los Angeles. Your day rate, I I've done pretty much every job on set except for being like a grip and a camera person. I've been a stylist. I've been a PA. I've been a talent coordinator. I've been a producer. I've been an executive producer, all of those things. And that rate for someone who's on camera, who's doing all of those things it's low. But I did it because I was like, yes, great opportunity. And I'm glad I did it. What a great opportunity. And now I get to do this. But it's not money that you can retire on. Does that make sense? Vanessa, the vast majority of the people here know your bona fides and respect your hard work. And she shares a lot of her with her audience. You're great. Thanks, Natalie. Nothing, Petra. Don't worry. Thanks, Sergeant Donovan. Someone was just asking why I was like asking for super chats. Like, because that's like why you stream that's how you support this. Not why you stream, but it's how you support the stream. So I can continue to do this. And, you know, it's fun. Yeah. People like it. Still interested in new opportunities. I don't know what you mean. What new opportunities? I'm going to put you on the board, Sergeant Donovan. It makes sense that I went on a little rant during the ADHD talk. Like, hey, why aren't you just sitting here and spending your time with us? And you, I was invited to dinner tonight and I told my friend no. I could be sitting with my friend having a nice meal. And instead I'm researching ADHD with all of you and we're learning about it. If you appreciate my time and me speaking to you in this very nice voice, I think I have a relatively nice voice. And I read these pretty in-depth articles and we think about them. We have reading comprehension. That's why you can't comment things like that and then expect me not to understand what you were saying, because my brain it works really well. It just has too many things going on at once. So, yeah, my daughter is getting a horse for her birthday. Petra, I can't even hear that. That makes me so jealous. I can't even tell you. It makes me so jealous. Okay, where's my video? Link. You can come visit. That would be, what kind of horse is it? For example, producers usually end up writing some of the show, but don't get any credit for it. But there's just a lot of combining of jobs, but not paying for the extra responsibilities. Yeah. Possums. What possums? People don't realize that reality TV doesn't pay well. Yeah, of course not. I've done a lot of work on reality too, and there's usually some level of exploitation going on for every department. Of course, yeah. I mean, like it was somewhat like reality. We definitely it was scripted in a way. I don't know how to explain it. It wasn't like totally reality, like we had lines we would say. And obviously as the seasons went on and when I was a proven talent, my rate changed. And I really appreciated that Vice was willing to put that kind of content on television, cable TV, first cannabis show on cable television. So I'm not complaining in any way. I'm just saying in response to that comment, I don't have TV money. So that doesn't exist for me. Bon Appetit cookbook. I got a fee for writing the recipe and the little notes that I put in it. So that's really, I've been your fan forever. I've watched Bon Appetit. I'm like, if you really want to be my fan and you really want to support what I do, you're a member of my Patreon. You're here in my sesh and you're if you can, you send me a super chat. Awesome. Thank you. I really appreciate it. It goes to improve the stream. I think people have kind of seen how much I've put into improving the stream so it's better quality, so I can have guests on like Laganja and things like that. I'm basically trying to bring the cannabis cooking show that I would like to see on TV here, because producers, I've tried pitching different streamers and production companies, and cannabis is just not on their agenda. So Vice is really it. And they've been very, like with Incredible Edibles, they put that out and it did really well. I paid for that. Probably shouldn't say that, but it was fun. It was for the club. It was for the club. That's how it was made. I made it for the Edibles Club, my Patreon. So I really believe in what I'm doing, and that's why I do it. And the people who support me really believe in what I'm doing too. And I really appreciate you. You want V, you gotta pay. You're so funny. Al Fraggle Rock, pothead TMI. What's TMI? He's staying at a barn down the street near me. What? Paint horse cute 3 years. Oh, paint horse cute. Oh, that's really pretty. That's really cool. That's a pretty horse. Oh, Casey Jones. Yesterday's eggs tasted funky. Now that is TMI. That is so TMI. Casey. Whatever. I don't care about diarrhea. If you want to send me $2 to say that you've got diarrhea and you want to have some kind of weird brown kink shame, that's it. That's up to you, man. I'll take your $2 and you'll go on the board. I don't want to know what you're into, buddy. Okay. I don't kink shame, but I really don't want to know. Okay. One blue eye and one brown eye. That's really cool. I wish I had a horse. $2 is $2 as long as it's clean. It is clean. It'll be minus 30% or whatever percentage YouTube takes, but that's okay. Okay, so let's see. Let me see what this is. Let me see what this is. Making sure it's not AI. Okay, let's see. This is for all kind of mental. This is Dr. Ava Mason. Oh, that's so weird. Where is she playing? Okay, let me go to the watch sesh. Watch sesh. Oh, it's weird. Theater mode? It's in theater mode. Okay. Let me move her over here. Let me move over. And then let's move her down here. And let's see what she sounds like. Oh. Oh boy. What happened, lady? Maybe it doesn't want to play. Ooh. Can you guys hear that? Can you hear it? Can you guys hear that? Also, I'm going to put the closed captions on. I want to go to ADHD. Hi, everyone. Hope you're all having a good night. Hi, Mike Smith. You can't hear it. Okay. Shit. Watch automatic method. Let me see. No. Okay, you guys, you can still hear me. That's the Rodecaster Pro. Okay. Virtual output. Let me see. Okay, let me ask my guy. Low YouTube. No, I don't think it's the YouTube audio. I think it's, let me see. No, we should see it. I didn't order anything yet. Should I order Indian food or should I order pizza? Indian food. Let's do it. I agree with you. Let's get naan. Let's get saag paneer. Let's get aloo chana. I've ordered it 4 times. We're ordering it again. Medium, spicy, white rice. I had to order. I love the gulab jamun, raita, fresh mint chutney, definitely mango chutney. I'm going to be a basic bitch and get the tikka masala. Don't care. Normally I would get the mango pickle, but you know what? Like, Indian food is really expensive here. We don't have a lot of great Indian selections in Los Angeles, but I love Indian food. Makes me really happy. So, and it's easy for me to order. I know exactly what I want. I wish they had more mithai. I love mithai. It's my favorite thing. They're so good. Kalakand. I should make it. I mean, I don't know. I've never made it before. I've eaten it plenty of times. Love it. It's like a cheese fudge. It's like a cheesy fudge. It's so good. Okay, is that what I want? Saag paneer, garlic naan, aloo chana bundle, fresh mint chutney, tikka masala. Okay, that's good. Let's do it. What's everyone saying? I just sous vide eggs for egg salad, but now I want Indian food. I'm sorry. Mango pickle. I love it. So spicy. It's so hot. It's like very salty. Why is this? Oh, the video like shit out. That's weird. Huh. Yeah, why is it being so weird? That's so funny. But why is it showing me that? Oh. Let me go here. Cannabis. Right? There she is. But I can't get her to play for you guys. Okay, let me text. Okay, I'm going to do this right now, right? We're ordering this Indian food. That's fine. We're doing it. It's expensive. It's always expensive. It's fine. And then I need to text Al. Shit. Yeah, we were doing so well. Hey, Al. I can't get the audio to work for the window capture of the browser. So weird. But Al's very savvy. And if he can't help me right now, because he might be busy, right? Then what we'll do is we will just read it. I can hear her. Appreciate the show. Thank you. Love it. I'm gonna put her little ice pack on, okay? I'm gonna get myself some water. I ordered food and I'll be RB, okay? I'm just gonna play her. You're gonna have to read it. Here's cannabis research. Okay. I'm just going to wait. Reselecting the window in the source properties. Okay, I did that though, and it's still not. I think it's some source properties. Capture method. Okay, good. Just staying on it. Windows. Capture audio. I don't know if that's going to work. Let's see.
One receptor. This is a pain receptor that's activated during painful sensations.
Did that work?
Such as burning. And what CBD does, it decreases the activity of this receptor, meaning that you're less likely to feel pain, which is why it's been considered an anti-inflammatory. So we can go more specifically into the exact serotonin receptors it binds to. The first one is 5-HT1A. This receptor is related to anxiety, sleep, appetite, pain, and nausea. And these are the things that would be affected if CBD was binded to that receptor. It also binds to the 5-HT2 receptor, and that is responsible for psychedelics, stress, and headaches. So it reduces the effects of stress, headaches, and psychedelic-like experiences when you take
Tecnologia!
It also can bind to the 5-HT.
Tecnologia! Tecnologia! Yeah.
3A receptor, which is as well as responsible for nausea and pain, it's also responsible for mood changes, and this is why CBD can be seen as an antipsychotic as well. In relation to disorders like PTSD and other anxiety-related disorders, there are increased endocannabinoid receptors in areas such as the amygdala, which is related to fear, and the hippocampus, which is related to learning and memory, and therefore this is associated with how we learn fear and how we have fear extinction. So CBD can not only reduce anxiety, but also affect how we process fear and how we determine.
Oh, Petra, you should check out. Have you ever seen Nicole Rucker? She's like the pie queen of Los Angeles, and she has a cookbook out right now. It's called Fat and Flour. But her pie dough, I don't know if it's online anywhere, but her pie dough recipe is, I haven't tried it yet, but supposedly it's killer. Should I take another boop? Might be boop time. She does have an excellent fringe.
I mean, whether
below the brows, very cool.
Compared to something that is a safe environment. So that's how CBD
boop
might
time.
affect things like PTSD. So now I'm going to talk about the first systematic review looking at therapeutic intervention of CBD with all sorts of psychiatric disorders. So out of the 310 articles that were reviewed when duplicates were removed, only 13 of these studies actually met the eligibility criteria. And this shows that maybe we need to do a lot more research into this industry to see how CBD can actually affect different disorders in a therapeutic intervention. Anyway, let's go through these 13 studies and see what we think of them, and I'm going to categorize them by the different disorders that they're treating. Firstly, let's look at the two studies that were specific to the treatment of anxiety. No human studies could actually be found for looking at the effects of CBD for those with generalized anxiety disorder.
CBD?
So both of these studies are related to social anxiety disorder.
I mean,
one double-blind randomized control trial looked at.
Here we go. We don't need to look at all of this.
Before I go on to ADHD, I just want to say that there is some research that suggests that people with ADHD self-medicate with cannabis as a coping strategy for different effects that it may have. Therefore, although they may be lacking in evidence of the benefits of the use, there's been a lot of off-label use that's been described.
Don't you think you should listen to patients?
One randomized control trial.
Don't you think you should listen to people if they're telling you, hey, wow, my hair is very naughty back here. Whoa. Hey, this helps me. I like this. I've done Adderall too. And yeah, that's great. But I don't like it in the long run. I have issues with it. Okay? Ooh, very, very naughty. Very naughty. That damn mold can burn in hell. What mold? Doctor, what's going on? Anyone else growing any? Oh, yeah. I got my plants growing. ILGM. I got all of them, most of them, no, all of them sprouted. And, you know, I've got some people I'm going to give some to, because what am I going to do with all of those plants? And I really like it. Okay, let me pull my shirt so it fits better. Okay, let's keep listening.
Looked at 30 patients with ADHD using nabiximols for 6 weeks.
And just so you guys know, you get if you use the code Vanessa or Marigold, you get 20% off, which is a really good deal. They don't usually give that amount of discount for people, but you get 20% off of seeds at ILGM. So if that interests you, they do support this stream. They are one of my sponsors. I want to say thank you to ILGM for supporting me and keeping this fun show going.
The primary outcome of the study was
I'm
cognitive
inside.
performance and activity level.
Oh, outside plants.
Head movement. And unfortunately, after 6 weeks,
I thought you were asking me if I was inside right now. You're asking me if I'm growing inside or outside. I'm outside. My house is so tiny. I don't have enough room for an indoor grow. I know I could have like a little tent somewhere, but
there was no significant benefit of this treatment for this primary outcome. The second outcome looked at the Conners Adult ADHD Rating Scale, which was rated by a clinician, and they found reduced hyperactivity and impulsivity when using this treatment. However, there was a significant adverse event of muscle spasm or seizures in the treatment
like and
group,
subscribe.
so we would have to maybe moderate the dose so that it's more
like and subscribe.
Tolerable and safe for these individuals, although there were significant effects for the secondary outcomes of the study.
Hey,
However,
Abby,
when
no.
adjusting for the multiple tests and the factor of multiple testing, the results did not remain significant. Ooh. However, the sample size was very small, so again, if we increase the sample size when we replicate the study, there might be able to be significant effects that are still there even when you control for multiple testing. And lastly, the 3 last studies are looking at the treatment of CBD for individuals with schizophrenia. One double-blind randomized control of 42 individuals with schizophrenia were used to see if there was any effects of CBD versus a group of individuals who just had the antipsychotic amisulpride. Both treatments led to significant symptom improvement. CBD was related to increased anandamide levels, which was related to clinical improvement and had a reduced side effect profile compared to the antipsychotics. Another randomized controlled trial that was blinded was with 66 patients with schizophrenia, and they were either given oral CBD or were kept on treatment as usual with their usual antipsychotic. After 6 weeks, they found that the cannabis group had lower positive psychotic symptoms compared to those on treatment as usual. They were also more likely to be rated as improved by clinical rating scales. While these 2 studies show some improvement, there was a recent randomized control trial looking at 36 patients with schizophrenia using CBD versus placebo that showed no significant effects. Both the placebo and the CBD group showed improvement in the PANSS symptom severity score. However, CBD was seen as more tolerated. It has been suggested from a recent study that CBD could have protective effects for those who are at ultra high risk of psychosis.
Verdant Square, no, didn't know about Hey Abby. I'll have to check it out. That's cool. Maybe there's somewhere I could sneak it. I have a lot of plants right now. Native urban hike. I have a manic depression. It makes me not be so on the blue side of life. Always chronic leg hop pains from car accident. Oh, I'm sorry. And PTSD and ADHD. Yeah. We got a lot going on. And like, listen, if this plant helps us. So look at what other people are doing, and it's shouldn't even be compared. They shouldn't even be in the same category, as like some of the stuff that people are doing. I need to watch the latest South Park. Kylo G, I've been a fan since Bon Appetit, and I always learn something new with your show. Thanks for everything you do. Salute. Thank you, Kylo G. That's really sweet of you. Oh, because your cat scratched you? That's what you got. Oh, shit. She took her little thing off because my damn neighbor was getting their garbage bins. Okay. It's okay. I'll put it back on her. Okay, let's keep listening. That's cool, Natalie. I'll definitely look into it and can reach out to them.
Psychosis. And a study has investigated.
Oh wait, no, I didn't want to watch any more of her. We got enough of this lady. That was good. That was interesting. Very interesting. That was on CBD. Um let me see this. It was deleted. What happened? Are you hungry? She might be hungry. It's 6 o'clock. It might be time to eat her. So let me get another clip for you guys, and then I gotta feed my little doggy. Yes, I see you. Yes, I see you. I see you. XA. Good stretches, Bonbon. Good stretches. Yes. Let me check this one. How long is this? All right, this might be a little bit long, but that's okay. I think it's going to be pretty interesting for you guys, and I'm going to feed my little doggy.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you've never seen me before,
no,
my
that's
name
the
is
same
Ava.
one.
I'm a research assistant.
I didn't mean to do that. Bonbon, just give me a second. She's definitely feeling better since I put ice on her leg. Hello.
Hey guys, welcome
Hi.
back to another episode of the AltMed podcast. Andrew Dowling here, my co-host
Andrew
with
Dowling
the
here.
Mixed Hertz. And remember,
Sorry.
before we jump into
Stop
today,
twirling.
if you like
No.
what we're doing, please
Stop it.
hit
Sit.
like and subscribe
twirl.
to get our podcast wherever you get
No.
your feed. Rightio, so today we have a very special guest. We're going to be talking about ADHD and neurodiversity and how all of those things interact with medical cannabis. So it is my pleasure to introduce our GP for today, Dr. Bryce from EFCA, the Executive Function Consulting Agency. Welcome, Bryce.
Hey, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thanks for being had. I'm actually really keen to get stuck into this one because we haven't talked a lot about ADHD, and I think it's generally quite misunderstood just, throughout. I think I've misunderstood it. Definitely. I still don't even know the difference between ADD and ADHD. But we would love to get, before we get into that, a little bit of a history on yourself and how you found your way to, writing medical cannabis scripts in the space.
Yeah. So a little bit about me. So I live on the Gold Coast, and I've been working as a GP for a number of years. And I sort of started my cannabis prescribing journey a couple of years ago, maybe 2.5, almost 3 years ago. And I was...
This is what I got, Bonbon. I'm going to put this back in the fridge, but I just want to show you. This is like, she's liking this because it's not too heavy, right? It's like just nicely, nice little weight. And I can just put it on her knee and it's not putting too much weight on her knee, but it doesn't get too cold. Like it's a nice gel. So when we finish up here, I'll ice her knee again. Okay, I'm back. Let's see what's the check. I don't mind. Oh wait, you know what I'm gonna do to feed the dingus? It always also helps me get off. Wow, it winged me down from hard drugs and alcohol to where it helped me escape and recover from the cycle. Cannabis literally saved my life. That's so great to hear.
Seeing patients come in on some cannabis therapies from some other cannabis clinics. And I was like, oh, some of these people are getting some good results. And so I reached out to some of those early cannabis companies, and I started off prescribing a little bit of CBD to my patients, and I noticed some really good results. And I was like, oh, okay, I can do this. And then I started learning more about it and just getting fantastic results for patients and, really weaning off, a lot of medications that had nasty side effects. So that sort of got me interested in the cannabis space, and that sort of progressed along.
More
And
doctors like
then
that.
towards the end of last year, I had the opportunity to work alongside a psychiatrist in an ADHD specific clinic. And so I was doing sort of the pre-assessment and management and
Kilo G, she's okay. Like she's very happy now because I've been like, you know, hopefully she's just scratching her head with her leg that has been bugging her. So I'm hoping she's not about to pop her knee out again with it. Don't get too ballsy with that leg, Bonbon, until there's a lot of icing. Go lay down. Go lay down. Yeah, I know you're feeling good. So, I've just been icing her leg and gave her a little massage, like massaging her lower back. And it's like there's these videos that I watch and you can just like very light, because like for us, we want a lot of pressure, but she's so tiny, too much pressure and it's just a lot for her. So you just do real light touches, and especially because she's not getting massages all the time. So her muscles are really tight. Anyway, I can get distracted and talk about my dog all day. So don't distract me with Bonbon, okay? Thanks, Natalie. I put a little CBD into her dog food. She's got the green lipped mussel. There's the glucosamine, and then this other one, CH like chunt. I don't know what the other one is, but something else for their joints. And the gel pack that we've been icing 3 times a day for 15 to 20 minutes. And that's definitely helping. And I'm trying to teach her to not twirl. Stop twirling. I was like, it was really hard. And yesterday when Laganja came over, she was so excited and her knee was feeling better. And so she was just like jumping all over Laganja and just twirling. And then she threw her knee out. So she got too excited.
Assistant with diagnosis of people with ADHD, autism, and learning disorders. And it was that kind
She's
of
the
that light
best.
bulb moment where I was like, hang on, everyone coming in here uses cannabis. And there was just this huge
I don't know if Michelle's here, but she's like, oh, you should try and get her into a pool. And I was like, I'm going to see if Nina has access to a pool. And so I asked her today if I could have Bonbon come and swim. And she's like, oh yeah, totally. So if we do that, we'll definitely capture it. Okay. I feel like I need to get her a little life jacket so she floats and she can just kind of like, how they do that like little dog paddle. So she doesn't have to worry about really keeping herself up. She can just kind of like get her legs moving. She's not like that tight, but like you can see the back legs. If you start to look at smaller dogs more, you'll see a lot of them actually have their back legs. They don't really move them too much. They kind of float and all of it's in their front that they're holding themselves. And it's that a lot of them have luxating patella, or I don't know how to say, I always forget. Yeah, Nina's always great. Patricia, I had to do some errands. You're never late. This show goes for a while. Trust me. I ordered my Indian food. My Indian food still has to get here. It's going to be great. Where did I order from? It's DoorDash. I'm here. I'm hungry. And I should see what Postmates has too. Neither one of them owns me. So if you want exclusivity, you know who to call. Yeah, it's pretty good. And I like picking up your order. Great. I like Indian food. It's pretty good. It's not, I lived in Berkeley. Berkeley has very good Indian food. And Bay Area, San Francisco too. But this is not going to be that. But I'm going to enjoy it because I love vegetables and I love spices and I love sweets And I love Indian food. I don't, it's kind of like pizza for me. It's not even, it's even when it's, like not great, it's still really good. So, what are you smoking on? I was smoking on the Puffco. I already took it, but I'll gladly take another dab. Um, Can't stop, won't stop. Shout out to the Bay Area. That's right. Big shot. If you want to know where to go, that's the spot. I mean, if you're in Berkeley, that's the place to go. And I've been going there for a long time. Okay, so this is the Rosin Tech, and it's their Uptown Funk. Oh no, sorry, Uptown. That's a song. First Class Funk, and I like this. I like their papaya bomb too. What else did I had? I had iPoppy. That was great as well. I'm excited also to go up to CannaFest and try some of the rosin up there too. I'm like, where did my little thing go? Did I lose it already? She's chewing on a bone. She's so happy. Did I drop it on the floor? You know what? I want my other one anyway because this one's not working. Oh, I did drop it on the floor. I did. I dropped it on. Oh no, I'm charging it. I forgot I was charging it. I should plug this lid in. Put this lid on it. Oops. Don't turn on. No, don't turn on. No. Oh wait, no, it's charging. That's what that means. Sorry, distracted. Doctor, all I have is grape kush and strawberry cough, which do the job respectfully. Well, all I've got left is this First Class Funk right now, so I'm not judging you. All right, let's keep watching these guys. They're interesting.
Between ADHD and cannabis. And the more I looked into it, the more I just saw, this overlap everywhere in my patients, and with patients coming through the ADHD clinic. They're either on CBD, THC, they smoked cannabis. And I was like, okay, like there's something here. So I sort of just kept looking into it. And I guess we'll talk about some of the stuff that I've found.
Oh shit, that's a big
Absolutely. I think it might do some of the. I'm going to use the listeners as the scapegoat, but I really want it for myself, just to kind of.
I was about to say this is for us, Mitch. Can you perhaps talk us through? I know what he's going to ask. Can you talk us through, Bryce? What is ADHD, and perhaps also how does that differ from ADD?
Yeah, absolutely. So ADHD is the most common neurodevelopmental.
Just wait. I'm about to show you what ADHD is. Just did. Okay, we're booping. We're booping the house. Oh, wait, I didn't want to do it slow. Booping the house down. Okay, let's get back to it, boys.
Developmental disorder in children. And most people think of it as a childhood disorder, that hyperactive sort of child. It affects anywhere between 5 to 10% of the population. So, up to 1 in 10 children, sometimes even reports are even higher than that, have ADHD. So attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Now, most people think that it's just a disorder of childhood, but it actually persists through to adulthood as well. Approximately 10 to 15% of people will outgrow their ADHD in a sense, in that the symptoms subside as they get older. But in reality, most of it still persists into adulthood. So it's really hard to sort of describe what ADHD is because there's so many different types and symptoms. So I break it down really simply for my patients because I need things to be simple for me to understand. And I think that our role as a doctor is to be a professional interpreter. So we need to make something that's really complicated, like complex neuropsychiatry, and translate it into something our patients can understand. So I go through a lot of the work of Dr. Russell Barkley and Dr. Daniel Arman, and they like to talk about ADHD as an executive functioning disorder. And one of the hallmarks of ADHD
Hi, Cody. Livermore. Cool. Is lava cake good?
is that the frontal cortex, so the prefrontal cortex of the brain, which is the frontal lobe, just doesn't get enough blood flow. And that's a genetic variance. So about 10% of the population on average, some reports say 5, some say 10, no one really knows. About 5 to 10% have a genetic condition that means the frontal lobe of their brain just does not get enough blood flow. And so that frontal lobe, the prefrontal cortex, controls your executive functions. So if we talk about your executive functions, we'll go through them and then we can talk about what they do.
Sometimes I want to double move.
The first one I'd like to talk about is something called emotion regulation. So if you don't have enough blood flow to the frontal lobe.
Okay, so I just thought I was Sicilian. That's what I thought.
The brain.
I could be wrong. I need to go and get diagnosed, but
that frontal lobe of the brain runs on 2 main neurotransmitters, which are dopamine, which is stuff you like doing, and adrenaline, which is things you're interested in. So if you don't have enough blood flow, dopamine and adrenaline, you can't regulate emotions. So it means if you feel anxious, if you feel sad, depressed, angry, frustrated, you just can't regulate that emotion properly. The next executive function I talk about is impulse control. So people with ADHD are quite impulsive, and they're impulsive with their actions, they're impulsive with their emotions, and they're impulsive with their behaviors. So you'll see people, impulsively move. So the ADHD child that can't sit still, they're impulsively.
I don't think they're British. I think they're aren't they Australian? Am I wrong? Australia. Ha. I know an Australian accent.
Moving. And one of the reasons they do that is to increase blood flow to the brain, increase heart rate, increase adrenaline, so get blood to the brain. Other executive functions, so attention and focus, concentration, short-term working memory is a big one. And there's other executive functions as well, such as time planning, procrastination, interest-driven focus. So it's quite complicated. And you go, okay, we'll break it down something nice and simple that everyone can understand. Basically, the ADHD brain doesn't get enough blood flow to the prefrontal cortex, which means that part of the brain doesn't get enough dopamine, adrenaline, and the ADHD brain does whatever it can to get that dopamine and adrenaline. That's, in a nutshell, sort of what ADHD is. And then we'll go through examples and we can talk about, okay, how does that actually look in a person?
No, that's super helpful, Bryce. And I think, as you were sort of talking through, I was wondering, is it nature or nurture? Is it a genetic disorder, or is it caused by the environment one is, exposed to?
That's a good question.
Through, cognitive
I've
development.
seen both.
And yeah, it's quite interesting to hear that. Is it just because I do hear the term seemingly interwoven and interchanged with ADD, is that similar in the sense that also relates to a lack of blood in the prefrontal cortex that affects, hyperactive behavior and attention and these sorts of things as well?
Yeah, so it's a misconception that patients with ADHD or ADD are actually hyperactive. And in the vast majority of cases, they're not. So we like to talk about ADHD, or I like to talk about ADHD as an executive functioning disorder. So you talk about the executive functions. So you don't have to be hyperactive to have ADD or ADHD. It's really a disorder of those executive functions. And the hallmark of that is that lack of blood flow to the prefrontal cortex causing those symptoms. And there's actually seven different types of ADHD, which all present different symptom sort of clusters, depending on where that reduction in blood flow is to the part of the brain.
Why does it then get the hyperactivity kind of, why is that in there, one, in the name, and two, the association that people tend to have?
Yeah, so one of the reasons behind that is males are often diagnosed at much higher rates than females.
Right.
So typically young male boys, you see the stereotype of, the hyperactive kid that doesn't sit still. They're bouncing around the room. They're talkative all the time.
I actually went to school with him and he's on this call. Sorry.
I don't
Yep.
get it. I just laughed.
So males often get picked up
'Cause they
earlier
laughed.
because they display those external hyperactivity symptoms. So they don't sit still, they can't focus, they get distracted.
I'm looking at my
they
phone right now.
interrupt people all the time, and it becomes a problem. So they get picked up earlier, and the rate in children is
But I'm
about 8
checking the
males will get
DoorDash
diagnosed for every
people.
1 female. We know it's 50-50. So, there's 8 females being missed for every 1 male that's diagnosed early on. And in adults, that sort of evens out a little bit, but still 3 males get diagnosed for every 1 female, typically because, the females present a little bit less of that overt hyperactivity. So the symptoms that they have are often, more picked up as anxiety or depression, and it's not thought that it's ADHD.
Interesting. And so, yeah, I was just curious about then, so in terms of, as you say, once you get to adulthood, there's a sort of consensus view largely that it does affect the population in equal measure across the sexes.
Yeah, absolutely. And in my practice, I see a 50-50 ratio of males to females. They present very differently. So males will present with, a certain symptom cluster, and females might present a little bit differently. But the hallmark of those executive functioning challenges are there equally in males as females.
Okay. And it's kind of I think from, what you're describing, the lack of blood that causes, the lack of emotional regulation. And then in terms of, I suppose that triggers mood and a whole lot of other symptoms. I imagine is sleep might be affected. Eating habits. Does it just have this kind of domino effect on quality of life for people who experience this?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a really under-recognized and underdiagnosed condition. So studies and reports go all the way
Just
up to
like
about
cannabis is understudied.
84% of patients with ADHD.
Oh my, this is my food. This is it. She's pissed. She is pissed.
ADHD will have at least 1 mental health comorbidity. So almost everyone. And, about, of those 84, percent, 15% will have 1 mental health comorbidity. So anxiety is the most common. So anxiety or depression. It's actually more common to have more than 1. So it's something I like to call complex ADHD. 60% of people with
Which is funny. They call it complex PTSD.
ADHD will have
I bet
2
those
or
go hand in
more
hand.
mental health comorbid diagnoses. And, the list goes on. So anxiety, depression, insomnia, they might have substance use disorder, bipolar, schizoaffective disorder, eating disorder, so binge eating disorder, anorexia. So anytime I see patients with more than 1 mental health comorbidity, I immediately think, okay, could there be ADHD there as well, which is underpinning this?
Grandpappy Perp, I ordered Indian food. I'm going to get it right now. I'm going to keep playing. Can you calm down? I want you to relax. She's all excited because her knee's feeling better because I iced it a lot. But I just want her to chill because she keeps doing this. I know. Nope. Just chill. Just chill. No, don't get all excited. It's hard. She's a baby. She just wants to play, but I can't play with her. Okay, we'll just do light play, okay? She brought me her sloth, which means she's feeling better. She won't bring me this unless she feels better. I don't want to throw it that way because there's things in the way. Can we just do that? Go get it. I'm just throwing it like a little bit so she doesn't have to run very far, but she just wants to play a little bit. I got to get my food too. I'm gonna keep playing these guys. I'm gonna play with her little tug of war. Just lightly pulling on it. Yeah. Go get it. And she likes to play fetch.
Interesting. What are I'm just curious. We just talked before about the signs or the usual symptoms that you might see among, you know, childhood across males. What would you see in, young females who might have ADHD? How do their symptoms express themselves?
Yeah, so I sort of just go through the executive functions. So if we sort of use some examples in the executive functions, you can see where the ADHD sort of comes in. So with regards to the emotion regulation, you see, people, they
Well, the YouTube can't really see. Neither can you guys. I got a little too much food. Not too much. I'm gonna eat it. You know what? I got too much rice. But I got naan. Not for you, Baban. I like garlic. I like it like this. Okay. I have my Gandalf pipe too. I gotta smoke that later. I just want to give you guys a nice shot. How we doing? What do you guys think? Yeah, they did wrap the food nicely. So I got rice. Oh my God, I got way too much rice. I didn't order this much rice. Oh, something went wrong. What the hell? What the helly? What the hell? I didn't mean to order this much rice. I'm gonna have to. Oh, this is raita. I mean, whatever. Fried rice tomorrow. Some raita. Gotta have that. Something weird happened. This might not be mine. Or maybe I don't know what I did. I ordered something weird. I did something wrong. I was like, that's really expensive. But it's always kind of expensive. But then I wasn't paying very close attention to when I was ordering the food. Write it down. Check that one off too, okay? I didn't mean to. I have so much Coke at home. I didn't mean to order drinks. I have to look at what happened because that's not what I ordered. Order details. I got one white rice. I thought I got two. All I wanted was two white rice. And then I'm so confused what happened. Like where it says Coke that I got. I just want to make sure they didn't give me the wrong order. 1 second. Okay. I'm looking at my receipt. And I'm like, whoa. Yeah, like I didn't. Oh, I know what they did. Oh, that's so annoying. That's really annoying. Oh well. I got too much rice and I got more Coca-Cola that I did not need. This is chickpea. This is mint chutney and mango chutney. This is Sunny Boy, New Jersey. I'm so happy someone has the balls to post on here. They can shut down the video, but they won't shut you down live. I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm just eating Indian food. This is chicken tikka masala. YouTube, don't you love me? YouTube, do you love me? If you need me. Don't shut down my life. Please love me and let me go viral. This is another one because I accidentally ordered 2. Did not mean to do that. I'm definitely putting my hair up to eat this. This is the sag paneer, which is spinach and cheese. And this is the dessert. Yummy. I got too much food on accident. I accidentally ordered 2 of something because they had some special and I didn't mean to click it. And I wasn't paying attention. Close enough attention to notice. I know you're feeling better, aren't you? Yeah, can you just chill out, babe? Yeah, we need to ice your knee again. I know it's feeling better. I'm glad it's feeling better. I just want it. You were hiding under the couch earlier. Can you just chill? Literally. What did I do? That's crazy. Yeah, maybe it looks kind of cute. We won't leave it. I'm not doing it that way. It's a little much. I know that's true. Never too much Indian food. But I'm going out of town. I'm going to Cannabis on Friday. Maybe I'll bring it over to Nina and we'll have it for lunch. Okay. Twist this around my hair. I do post on here. Do they take people down for smoking weed? I mean, I feel like my account is age restricted. I feel like I do that. At least it is on Instagram. For sure it's age restricted. Okay. The Gemma looks really good. I have to try it though. Sometimes the last time I got it, the syrup was a little too loose. I know then it's not as good. Patricia, thank you for contributing to my dinner fund because I did not mean to spend that much on dinner. But that's okay. What color do I want to use? We already did purple. Let's do blue. Bishop 65. Give me a heart. Okay, let me go get a plate and a fork because I'm hungry. And then we're going to keep watching as we got... Oh, wait, let me put them on. And you guys can keep learning. We're going to go to the watch scene. And I'm
Have
going to
anxiety. And they know they're not supposed to be anxious, but they are. And if you've ever told someone who's anxious, just not worry about that, they'll go, oh, yeah, you know what? I was just worrying. Yeah. Thanks for telling me that.
Yeah, all I needed to hear was, hey, you need to relax.
Exactly. So most people, they know they're not supposed to be anxious, but they are, and there's nothing they can do about it. So that typically is that anxiety hallmark, depression, frustration, anger.
You know what I need?
So
I need something.
all of those emotions and just that inability to regulate those emotions properly. And that often goes hand in hand with that lack of impulse control. So people to regulate their emotions, they need that dopamine and that adrenaline to regulate those emotions. So you'll see people impulsively doing things to regulate those emotions. So if you take eating, for example, people will binge eat, and they'll often binge eat on things they like eating, like chocolate or fast food. So you see a lot of people, they binge eat and they don't know why they do it. They just can't stop themselves from eating. And part of that is they eat to, emotionally regulate. The other thing that goes along with ADHD is that the ADHD brain requires 30% more energy to function. So it needs 30% more sugar. So ADHD people are sugarholics. So they'll impulsively, might binge eat on food or sugary things to get that sugar, that blood flow to the brain, something they like eating, that dopamine, that adrenaline. So binge eating is a typical thing. Short-term working memory is a big one. So if you've ever walked into a room and just forgot why you're there, if you've ever met someone and just instantly forgot their name, it's things like following multi-step commands. So think of reading a recipe. So some people will have good short-term working memory. They can read a recipe, remember all the steps, and go and do it. Someone with ADHD will do step 1 and they can't move on to step 2 because they can't remember it. So they have to do step 1, chop the onions, go do that. Then they go, okay, what's step 2? So it often gets them into trouble at school where the teacher will give a long list of instructions to do. They remember the first one, they can't remember anything else. They get distracted and then they talk to their friends and get in trouble.
Is it fair to say though, like, I just want to figure out where the line is. But like sometimes some of the stuff you're saying, I would want to apply to myself. I don't think I have ADHD. I don't know. I can't qualify that, but you're probably able to tell me by the end of this video call. But I've done a couple of tests out of curiosity, and I came up negative. I don't know if that counts for anything, but I feel like some of the stuff you're saying applies to me. Checking the recipe one light at a time, kind of thing. Where is the line for something that might be kind of normal? I don't know, forgetfulness, let's say, versus actual validated ADHD, if you will.
Absolutely. Yeah. So to qualify for a diagnosis of ADHD, you actually have to have the disorder. So the disorder means that it's affecting your functioning in a negative way. So if you're a little bit forgetful and you forget people's names, but whatever, everyone forgets people's names, that's not a big deal. But if you are late to school every day because you leave your bag at home, you leave your phone, you can't find your keys because you put them down somewhere, you put them in the fridge because you're doing something else, that it impacts your life in a negative way. And so that then becomes a disorder. So the key hallmark of the ADD or ADHD is it has to be impacting your life in a negative way. And often it needs to be impacting your life across at least 2 settings. So if everything's okay at home and you're just stressed at work and so you can't focus and concentrate on work, it's only affecting 1 setting. So it needs to be across all of the different domains of your life and impacting you in a negative way.
And I suppose, even hearing these types of symptoms, I suppose there's usually for...
Wait. %. Sunny Boy, New Jersey. Like, I'm not even diagnosed. So I think I just self-medicate with cannabis. Okay, so did you hear that? Yeah, I do. I'm trying to, oh no. Where can I get this hooked up so I can get us a nice shot of the food I'm about to eat? That's not going to be good. I don't know what to do. Usually pretty good at this. That's not gonna be a good angle. All right, we'll go back here. We're going back. We're going back. We're going back. Maybe I can go higher. What am I gonna do? Okay, let's do it like that. Maybe. Oh no, I paused it. I
Patients that
didn't
you
mean
would
to
see,
do
I'm
that.
guessing.
I wouldn't sit still and wanted attention. Okay, what you looking for? I was trying to change the boop camera because I have all this food, basically. Wait, what happened? Is it still connected? It says it's still connected. That was weird. Okay, this is what I was trying to do. Oh wait, sorry, you can't see it. You guys don't get to see it. Instagram. If you want to see the food, you have to come. Oh shit. Do I have to rewind? I wanted to show you guys the food I was about to eat. Okay, let me get my plate ready for you guys. That's what I wanted to show you. I'm going to listen to him again, but I wanted to show you all what I ordered, okay? Because I got a lot of food, and I feel like people come here for the food a little bit. And this is the boop camera, but I turned it into the food camera. It's my friend Sarah Kirsten's. So first we're going to set up with a little bit of rice. I don't know how to put this mic so it's not totally in the way. Okay? Don't worry, there's something going on here. YouTube, if you were here, you would see what I'm about to eat. Oops, I just dropped some rice. We're just going to shoo that away like it doesn't exist. Not too much rice. Okay, so then we also have this. Oh, wow, and I can show you guys. Look at that. Okay. Like I did a little work, but I feel like it was worth the effort. Let me tell you what this is. It's the aloo chana, and it's chickpea, potato, tomato situation, and it makes me very happy. Cilantro. I got it medium spicy, which is usually a decent amount of heat. That's one of my favorite. Didn't mean to get 2 of them, but hey, I'm not going to complain about potato and chickpea. Okay. Saag paneer, which is spinach, and I'm trying to keep the mic like not in the shot here for you guys. But also not in the Instagram. Okay, so this is the saag paneer. Let me put my headphones on so I can hear myself. Okay, there we go. Now I know what I sound like, and that's better. Nom nom nom, that's right. Okay, so let's open this baby up. Yummy. I love chickpeas, garbanzo beans, whatever you want to call them. Let me show you, and I'll show the Instagram. Sorry, Instagram, I didn't show you the other one. Look at that saag paneer. And then I'll show you. Let me scoop into it for you so you can see. It's about that ratio of paneer, which is the cheese, to sog, and also the flavor. That looks pretty nice to me. Oops, look how green that is. So nice and green. Come on over to YouTube if you want to see me eat this. I mean, I guess you will see me eat it on Instagram too, but you can really see me make my plate. This has a good amount of paneer. Thank you. They're like, she just spent a lot of money here. It's like, I didn't mean to. It's okay. We need to support our LA restaurants because honestly, they need some support. Chicken tikka. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing these correctly. And let me show you this. Scope threat. It's all about how much chicken is in there, right? Seems like a good amount. Sometimes it's all sauce. Okay, so the chicken tikka. I always love this. It's so yummy. You know, I really used to eat a lot of spicy food when I was younger, like loved it. Get a little saucier. But the older I get, the more difficult that gets for me. So I used to be a ham for spice, but looks great. Thanks. Wait, what? Doctor, that's not very nice. That's a little like, to be honest with you, that's a little like, actually, plenty of fiber here. And also, like, I'm eating dinner. You trying to ruin my meal? Are you lonely? Do you not have people to hang out with? Is that why? Because if you said stuff like that around me at dinner, I'd be like, I don't want to eat around you anymore. And you just said that around me at dinner. Just let you know. Anyway, here's the raita. And it was not I would say it was bordering. It was a microaggression, in my opinion. Love raita, yogurt. And this cools it down, right? This is what's going to cool it down. Don't talk shit about Indian food ever. I will come for you. I pour that right there next to the paneer, although it probably should go next to the chickpea. That's okay. We're good. Here they are. And I almost like I wasn't gonna do this, but I'm gonna do it. And I'm gonna go backwards, don't worry. Okay, this is the mango chutney. Love chutney. One of my favorite things. The egg memories. That was just gross. Can you guys just stop? Get your weird things. I don't want to talk about that right now. We're talking about ADHD. Look at that. Oh, that smells so good. I fucking love chutney. I love chutney. Yum. And then that's how you flavor your bites. You know, if you want a little sour and sweet, if you want it a little minty. Oh yeah, let me show you this. Mint chutney. Cheers. What if I just drank that? Probably good for me. Boo. Love it. Eat it. Oh yeah, can't forget the naan. Oh, it smells so good. The way the dog is looking at me right now. Envy. I'm going to take a quarter of a piece of naan. And I don't want you guys to judge me while I eat this. Whatever, you can judge me. I don't give a shit. Judge me if you want. I'm going to enjoy this. I love it. This makes me so happy. I'm so glad I did this. Thank you. And there's so much of it. All right, you guys. Let me put this up for you so you can all see my finished plate. Aren't you glad I set up that camera? Doesn't that look cute? Under the naan is my rice, right? And that's how I like to kind of set up my plate. I've got the raita here, the saag paneer, chicken tikka, the mango chutney is right there. Mint chutney is right there in the green, and the aloo chana is right there. So to you guys, come, bon appetit to me. All right, I'm going to switch back to my, yeah, Kyle, you get it. I'm going to switch back to our watch scene. And go back here. And I'm going to go back because I was obviously distracted. So how far back should I go? Like here?
There's 8 females being missed for every 1 male that's diagnosed early on, and in adults that sort of evens out a little bit, but still 3 males get diagnosed for every 1 female, typically because the females present a little bit less of that overt hyperactivity. So the symptoms that they have are often more picked up as anxiety or depression, and it's not thought that it's ADHD.
Interesting. And so, I was just curious about then, so in terms of, as you say, once you get to adulthood, there's a sort of consensus view largely that it does affect the population in equal measure across the sexes.
Yeah, absolutely. And in my practice, I see a 50-50 ratio of males to females. They present very differently. So males will present with, a certain symptom cluster, and females might present a little bit differently. But the hallmark of those executive functioning challenges are there equally in males as females.
Okay. And it's kind of I think from, what you're describing, the lack of blood that causes, the lack of emotional regulation. And then in terms of, I suppose that triggers mood and a whole lot of other symptoms. I imagine is sleep might be affected. Eating habits. Does it just have this kind of domino?
I wonder if because I had hypothyroidism, it makes you sleep a lot. So the sleep thing, like,
effect on quality of life for people who experience this.
That's another one we should look into, is the endocrine system. Very complex.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a really under-recognized and underdiagnosed condition.
Happy.
So studies and reports go all the way up to about 84% of patients with ADHD will have at least one mental health comorbidity. So almost everyone.
Oh, we saw this, yeah.
And about of those 84 percent, 15% will have one mental health comorbidity. So anxiety is the most common. So anxiety or depression. It's actually more common to have more than one. So it's something I like to call complex ADHD. 60% of people with ADHD will have 2 or more mental health comorbid diagnoses. And, the list goes on. So anxiety, depression, insomnia, they might have substance use disorder, bipolar, schizoaffective disorder, eating disorder, so binge eating disorder, anorexia. So anytime I see patients with more than one mental health comorbidity, I immediately think, okay, could there be ADHD?
So that's the thing in my book. I'm like, I use cannabis for, an eating disorder. No.
ADHD there as well, which is underpinning this.
Interesting. Well, what are I'm just curious, we just talked before about the signs or the usual symptoms that you might see among, um, childhood across males. What would you see in young females who might have ADHD? How do their symptoms express themselves?
Yeah, so I sort of just go through the executive functions. So if we sort of use some examples in the executive functions, you can see where the ADHD sort of comes in. So with regards to the emotion regulation, you see, people, they have anxiety.
Okay, we already saw this
and
a lot.
they know they're not supposed to be anxious,
Okay,
but they are.
but I didn't.
And if you've ever told someone who's anxious, just not worry about that, they'll go, oh yeah, you know what? I was just worrying. Yeah. Thanks for telling me that.
Yeah, all I needed to hear was, hey, you need to relax.
Exactly. So most people, they know they're not supposed to be anxious,
Messy
but they
girl.
are, and there's nothing they can do about it. So that typically is that anxiety hallmark, depression, frustration, anger. So all of those emotions and just that inability to regulate those emotions properly. And that often goes hand in hand with that lack of impulse control. So people, to regulate their emotions, they need that dopamine and that adrenaline to regulate those emotions. So you'll see people impulsively doing things to regulate those emotions. So if you take eating, for example, people will binge eat, and they'll often binge eat on things
Don't read
they
me
like
right
eating,
now,
like chocolate
buddy.
or fast food. So you see a lot of people, they binge eat and they don't know why they do it. They just can't stop themselves from eating. And part of that is they eat to, emotionally
I don't do
regulate.
that.
The other thing that goes along with ADHD
Other
is
than
that
candy.
the ADHD brain requires 30% more energy to function. So it needs 30% more sugar. So ADHD people are sugarholics. So they'll impulsively, might binge eat on food or sugary things
What
to
the
get that sugar, that blood flow to the brain, something they like eating, that dopamine, that adrenaline. So binge eating is a typical thing. Short-term working memory is a big one. So if you've ever walked into a room and just forgot why you're there, if you've ever, met someone and just instantly forgot their name, it's things like following multi-step commands. So think of, reading a recipe. So some people
but I can do that all day
have
long.
good short-term working memory. They can read a recipe, remember all the steps, and go and do it. Someone with ADHD will do step 1 and they can't move on to step 2 because they can't remember it. So they have to do step 1, chop the onions, go do that. Then they go, okay, what's step 2? So it often gets them into trouble at school, where the teacher will give a long list of instructions to do.
Isn't that like that test that they would make you do where it would be like a long list of questions, and then the last question would be like, the first question would be read all the questions through before writing the test. But no one would do that, right? Because you just want to get it done. Or maybe you got ADHD. And you get to the end of the test and it was like, don't answer any of the questions in the test.
Remember the first one, they can't remember anything else. They get distracted.
Hi, Wardwood 248. Welcome to the stream.
Is it fair to say though, like, I just want to figure out where the line is, but like sometimes some of the stuff you're saying, I would want to apply to myself. I don't think I have ADHD. I don't know. I can't qualify that, but you're probably able to tell me by the end of this video call. But I've done a couple of tests out of curiosity, and I came up negative. I don't know if that counts for anything, but I feel like some of the stuff you're saying applies to me. Checking the recipe one line at a time, kind of thing. Where is the line for something that might be, kind of normal, I don't know, forgetfulness, let's say, versus actual,
good question.
Validated ADHD, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah. So to qualify for a diagnosis of ADHD, you actually have to have the disorder. So the disorder means that it's affecting your functioning in a negative way. So if you're a little bit forgetful and you forget people's names, but whatever, everyone forgets people's names, that's not a big deal.
Right.
But if you are late to school every day because you leave your bag at home,
like I said, we're called the late
phone, you
Laverados.
can't find your keys because you put them down somewhere, you put them in the fridge because you're doing something else. that it impacts your life in a negative way. And so that then becomes a disorder. So the key hallmark of the ADD or ADHD is it has to be impacting your life in a negative way. And often it needs to be impacting your life across at least 2 settings. So if everything's okay at home and you're just stressed at work, and so you can't focus and concentrate on work, it's only affecting one setting. So it needs to be across all of the different domains of your life and impacting you.
Thank you, Infinite Indigo.
Way. And I suppose, even hearing...
You liked it with Laganja. That was so much fun. If you didn't watch my live stream yesterday, I had a special guest, Laganja Estranja, and we made zazzanella, which was panzanella, which is a bread tomato salad. And we infused it. It was really fun.
These types of symptoms, I suppose there's usually for the patients that you would see, I'm guessing, it, unequivocally is a disorder, because if you are impulsive with respect to, say, emotional outbursts, or you're forgetful because you can't do multi-step commands, then that will frustrate the people around you. And so you have this kind of circle of, relationships that are constantly being tested by your disposition, which you have no necessary control over, in the sense that it's a genetic predisposition.
Let me show you this.
I want to actually just kind of just jump to one thing that I hear raised about ADHD, and please consider Mitch and I, if it's not already apparent, to be complete rookies on the topic. But you hear people saying, it just seems to be getting diagnosed more and more these days. And, when I was, insert whatever, how old the person is, years ago, I don't remember a single kid in my classroom having, now everyone's got it, everyone's on dexamphetamines, and you hear these kinds of prevailing views in the community.
Right.
What do you say to that? I mean, I kind of heard you say before that you feel that it's been underdiagnosed over time. Is that kind of where you stand on that type of view?
Yeah. So there's a number of factors that contribute to ADHD. And I think it goes along with the dopamine hypothesis. And also people believe it's an issue with, the Western world as well, which we do see much higher rates. And I think we have one of the highest rates of ADHD in the world in Australia. And there's different theories behind that. But, if we look at Australia and we look at, how we're doing as a country in terms of our mental health, we have the second highest rate of antidepressant prescriptions in the world. So
who's
per
the
capita,
first?
we're one of the most overweight and
America.
obese, nations in the entire world. We have one of the top 10 suicide rates in the entire world. We are the highest, we have the most gambling, highest rates of gambling in the entire world. We have one of the most alcoholic, alcohol addicted, smoking addicted, drug addicted, populations. So we go, okay, well,
really,
how does that all play into ADHD? And we look at, the blood flow to the brain, and all of those things affect blood flow. So, anything that impacts on blood flow to the brain can cause these symptoms. So, that's one of the hypotheses behind, the development of ADHD.
Okay, be right back.
Is that, there's the genetic component, but also there's that blood flow, and anything that can impact the blood flow in the brain can do that. The other thing is that dopamine hypothesis. And we are so addicted to dopamine now. You cannot go into a school and see a kid that's not glued to their phone. And so we get dopamine 24/7 from everything that we do. And there's some great podcasts on that. There's some great books called Dopamine Nation, which is all about how we're so wired for dopamine that we're so addicted to it that our brains actually crave it all the time. And, that's a phenomenon that we've never, ever had in the world. We've never had smartphones that can give us that dopamine 24/7 whenever we want it. And our brains are so addicted to dopamine, it's really hard to switch off. So our kids that are growing up, they're growing up addicted to dopamine.
And all those things. So you get dopamine from eating a food that you like. You get dopamine from the reward centers when you're gambling, and from alcohol or drug consumption. It's I actually did hear a interesting podcast on dopamine and some other things, other neurochemicals by the Huberman Lab. I don't know if you're familiar, but
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Really, really interesting for anyone who wants to do a deep dive on that topic. But what about just the role of? I know we're going to jump into the role that medical cannabis can play in hopefully helping people with ADHD, and maybe touch also on.
I forgot about these. I'm going to come back to them.
Before we do that, what can
we'll
we
have them
as a
right before
point,
it ends, and we'll bring the Gandalf out. No, we'll bring it out.
Medical cannabis being, I guess, a recent treatment. Dexamphetamines, other drugs that have been typically and continue to be prescribed to treat ADHD. What are those drugs trying to do, and what are some of the side effects that can be caused by those drugs?
Yeah,
so I know that's a hugely ambiguous question, so I'm sorry to throw that one at you.
Yeah, no, it's a whole topic in itself. The treatment of ADHD. So treatment of ADHD, the first thing to do is get blood to the brain. So the number one treatment of ADHD is exercise. And you need to get enough sugar to the brain, enough nutrients to the brain. So diet and dietary modification is the number one treatment alongside with exercise. So if you are not exercising and not eating the right diet.
I wonder if you could do a combination of like exercise and then edibles, for ADHD. Maybe I should do that.
You're not getting enough nutrients to the brain, and so you're not treating the brain properly, which is really hard, especially if you've got a child who's neurodivergent, who you struggle with dietary issues and challenges. That can be really difficult. So medications are a fantastic adjunct, and Dr. Russell Barkley, who's one of the world leaders in ADHD, he describes ADHD medication, so dexamphetamines and your methylphenidate, so Ritalin, as like putting glasses on a child. So if you cannot focus, if your brain cannot focus, when you get given a medication that treats the ADHD, it's like giving someone glasses for the first time. And we wouldn't deny someone who can't see properly, we wouldn't go, oh no, just focus your eyes.
Right.
Don't have these glasses. It's like doing that for a child with medications. So the medications increase that dopamine and that adrenaline and increase that heart rate to get that blood flow to the brain. And they fill that deficiency in that frontal cortex.
And what does cannabis
do?
They
treat those symptoms of ADHD.
Guess we're going to find out.
It can be an absolute life-changing medication for a lot of patients and a lot of families.
But in terms of side effects, what do we see from the use of those? And I'm guessing they don't work for everyone.
Yeah. So
boop time.
About 70% of people will respond quite well to dexamphetamine. 30% of people won't. Again, 70% of people will respond quite well to methylphenidate, which is Ritalin. 30% of people won't. So when you combine those two medications together and people try one or the other, about 88% of people will respond quite well with minimal side effects. That leaves about 12% of people with ADHD that a stimulant medication won't work well for them. And then we have other options. So there are non-stimulant options. There are some blood pressure medications that we like to use as well. Then
that's interesting.
A lot of people, which is why they turn to medicinal cannabis, is that they have significant side effects from those medications, either because they've been prescribed them inappropriately at the wrong doses, or they've had those typical side effects, which can be increased heart rate, palpitations, appetite suppression is a really big one. Increase in anxiety can be another common side effect of those medications.
I'm actually really keen to explore this because there's somebody close to me in my life who takes some of these medications, and I've raised the point of trialing, CBD oil or THC as an option. And they've said, nah, no thanks, don't want any of that snake oil. I'll stay with the real stuff and go to a real doctor, basically was the the feedback I got. And I just want to, not only address that kind of stigma, but I would love to understand from your perspective why medical cannabis could be an effective treatment.
Yeah. I probably should mention about ADHD in that it's we talked about it being a genetic condition, and I probably didn't emphasize how important that genetics was. So about 80% of the time it's genetic, and it's as inheritable as height. So people don't realize that, and they go, "Oh, my son's got ADHD," and I talk to them about those symptoms, and I go, "Okay, who's got it, mum or dad?" And every single time they go, "Oh yeah, it's dad," because dad has all those hallmarks, or it's mum. So when people are looking at ADHD and they're getting their children assessed, or their parents assessed, or if they're using cannabis to treat their own ADHD, they often then will look at the other family members, their siblings or their parents, and go, okay, yeah, let's get them treated or assessed for their ADHD as well. So yeah, we'll talk about the cannabis side of things. So cannabis and ADHD, about 50% of people with ADHD use cannabis on a regular or a daily basis, which is quite a lot.
High.
Like 1 in 2, right?
Don't judge me.
Studies of people presenting to facilities for cannabis use disorder, 46% of them had ADHD. So it's almost 1 in 2, right? If we look at, the cannabis statistics around the world, and a lot of the data comes from America.
Gotta clean this.
18% of adolescents had a cannabis use disorder. So, almost 1 in 5, teenagers had a cannabis use disorder. In adults, that's about 9% of the population has a cannabis use disorder.
Wow.
And so if we look at the statistics of ADHD and the overlap, we go, oh, okay, those percentages are fairly similar. Of people that have ADHD, about 25% of them think that cannabis is helpful for treating the symptoms of ADHD. You go, okay. So, people with ADHD are using cannabis. Why? So we have to talk about, okay, what does cannabis do to the brain? So CBD is one
creates
section.
homeostasis.
So CBD, we know, activates, the endocannabinoid system and the CB1 and CB2 receptors in the brain and the body.
Yeah.
And there's not really any studies out there to show that CBD is particularly harmful for ADHD.
Right.
And a lot of, the patients I've treated, we use CBD alongside their stimulant medications.
I'm sorry, Casey.
Without any real side effects.
My bad.
It's mainly the THC that we talk about that people use to treat symptoms of their ADHD. And 70% of people using, cannabis or using drugs or medications to treat their ADHD say that, they're using it to treat the symptoms, the side effects, the anxiety, the depression. They're not using it to get high or anything like that. They're using it to treat those symptoms of sleep, anxiety, insomnia. So THC, interestingly, on brain scans that we
thyroid, I don't know about that. I don't know how it would help your thyroid. Thyroid's in here. It's right here. It's a butterfly shaped gland in your neck, and your thyroid controls, it's very important for a lot of things, for sleep, regulating sleep, fertility. What else does it do? Your body temperature, circulation. So if you have cold hands a lot, those kind of things. Sound quality better though. Thanks, Kyle. Yeah, we've really been working on the sound.
We do on people. It increases levels of dopamine, and adrenaline in the prefrontal cortex. So if you think, okay, so ADHD is a lack of blood flow, dopamine, and adrenaline, and THC increases dopamine and adrenaline in the prefrontal cortex, it's the perfect drug to treat
Sorry.
ADHD, right? Because it gives us exactly what we need. The only problem
I
with
missed
their
that.
ADHD, say that, they're using it to treat the symptoms, the side effects, the anxiety, the depression. They're not using it to get high or anything like that. They're using it to treat those symptoms
What
of
about doing both?
sleep, anxiety, insomnia. So THC, interestingly, on brain scans that we do on people, it increases levels of dopamine and adrenaline in the prefrontal cortex. So if you think, okay, so ADHD is a lack of blood flow, dopamine, and adrenaline, and THC increases dopamine and adrenaline in the prefrontal cortex, it's the perfect drug to treat ADHD, right? Because it gives us exactly what we need.
Okay.
The only problem is it does it too well. And it actually turns off the brain's ability, so that homeostasis, it turns off the brain's ability to make its own dopamine and adrenaline. So CBD actually helps, it's that regulatory system. It helps regulate those new neurotransmitters. We make serotonin, we make dopamine, we make adrenaline. The CBD can help regulate that process. The THC actually gives us dopamine, it gives us adrenaline, and it does it too well. So if you start using too much of it, your brain stops making its own and you actually become more ADHD. The symptoms of ADHD actually get worse. So it's really tricky because patients use it to treat the symptoms of ADHD, but it actually makes their ADHD worse in the process.
You're effectively involved in this kind of elaborate balancing act. Homeostasis.
Is there a way to
just
do
trying,
it?
then, I mean, it just speaks to the importance
Lower
of getting
THC
dosing
amounts.
right, and
Probably not dabbing,
the art
right?
of titration.
Maybe I'm making my ADHD worse.
Something that popped into my head, which is strangely a way of putting it.
This is
such a good. Can you map blood flow? Like if you were on the fence about a diagnosis for a given patient, can you actually, do that? I don't know, is it called neuromapping to determine?
That's right. There's got to be a way to titrate.
I did this for a patient the other day, actually. So, look at the comorbidities of ADHD and, the link between the substance use disorder, alcohol, gambling addiction, cannabis use, porn addiction, gaming addiction. Think of anything that gives you dopamine, the ADHD brain can get addicted to it. So I had a patient the other day and he'd been to rehab about 3 or 4 times for alcohol addiction. I was convinced that this was ADHD, had all the hallmark executive functioning challenges, rehab. The second he came out of rehab, relapsed straight back to the, alcohol. And I did what's called a SPECT CT scan. So a CT SPECT scan, so it's a brain scan, which we inject a little radio tracer.
Why are you laughing?
And it actually maps the blood flow of the brain. So if you think of a CT scan or an MRI, like opening the hood of a car and looking in and looking at the engine, a CT SPECT scan actually looks at what the engine does when it's turned on. So it actually looks at how the blood flow to your brain works when it's turned on and when it's running. So I did that scan for him and it just showed a very clear hypoperfusion in that prefrontal cortex. So, referred him back to his psychiatrist and said, hey, look, we've got to treat this guy's ADHD. And, we got him a stimulant medication and significant improvement.
Sunny boy,
instantly.
I don't think it's
so when people start a medication for ADHD, like a stimulant, it works within 15 minutes. So within 15 minutes, his life had changed.
Yeah, wow. But when you're saying that a lot of people that are presenting, and specifically in the US for, ADHD with usage of cannabis, my assumption would have been in those cases there would be more on the THC side.
Yeah, absolutely. That's right. Yeah. So it's the THC that's the issue. And there was a study done in New Zealand that showed that daily use of THC in the developing brain, and
Well,
the
yeah.
ADHD brain actually develops at a rate of 30% slower than a non-ADHD brain.
Wow.
So under THC use under the age of 25 was actually linked to an average IQ reduction in up to 8 points for people who are daily THC users. And interestingly, that once they stopped using cannabis, they never got that IQ back. So as cannabis doctors, we need to be very careful in people under the age of 25. If we're using high doses of THC, we can actually permanently affect people's IQ for the rest of their life.
But okay.
Interesting. Is it the I mean, one of the things though that really strikes me about that case study you were just mentioning is
Hi, Petra.
the extent, and it's the known unknown, the extent of people who are undiagnosed or possibly misdiagnosed at this point in time. I mean, one of my good friends was recently diagnosed with ADHD in his early 30s. And you just think, had that intervention come earlier in his life, it could have improved his quality of life. So do you know if there's anything really that can be done to make people more aware, and to even, I guess there's no harm in asking the question or submitting yourself to testing like that CT spec to actually determine whether or not you might actually have this diagnosis.
Right.
Yeah. So one of the things that I like to sort of promote is, education and training for doctors. So one of the things that hopefully people take away from, if they're listening to this podcast, especially medicinal cannabis prescribers, is that the vast majority of patients that you will see could potentially have ADHD, because this is what I see in my clinical practice. So if we look at the prescribing
Okay, but that's not a good,
for ADHD, for cannabis.
Wait a second, sir. You can't just say because in your practice, that is so biased. Okay, because everyone I see has ADHD. I'm diagnosing everyone I see with ADHD. Then I don't know about, here's why, listen, I know I'm biased. I get it. I don't care. I don't give a shit. He's definitely has some very good points, of course. And it wasn't him who brought him up. But anytime someone brings up, what's his name with the podcast from Stanford with the fake lab? Huberman? What's his fucking name? Is that it? Anyway, with the trying to have a harem of women just like Elon. They all have the same freaking goal. Anyway, it always makes me skeptical, right? Okay. It makes our ADHD worse.
In Australia.
My IQ is lower.
61% of prescriptions are for chronic pain, 16% were for anxiety.
I just think that's a really funny thing to say. Based on my patients all having ADHD, which again, he's the one diagnosing them with it. I'm going to say that most people that you're going to be giving medical cannabis to are going to have ADHD, or cannabis in general, right? It's always medicinal. Cody, I don't know what you're talking about.
Sleep disorders.
Sorry,
so
buddy.
82.7% of all the prescriptions for medicinal cannabis in Australia were for common comorbidities of ADHD. And when you think of, okay, what is a cannabis doctor? So people go and see a cannabis doctor in Australia to get prescribed a cannabis medication when they've tried a first-line therapy and it hasn't worked, or they've had side effects to medication, and it's a chronic condition that's persisted for more than 3 months. And we go, oh, okay, well, ADHD very commonly is misdiagnosed. They've tried a medication that hasn't worked because it's not been a medication to treat ADHD. And it's persisted for more than 3 months, and ADHD is a lifelong condition. So 82.7% of the prescriptions in Australia for medicinal cannabis, you've got to think, okay, well, maybe there is some ADHD.
Cannabis in
And
Australia
if they're
is not
prescribed a
legal,
THC product and
really.
the symptoms get better, well, it's increasing dopamine, it's increasing adrenaline, it's increasing, that in the executive functions in the prefrontal cortex. Well, maybe they did have ADHD, and that's why the cannabis treatment is working.
Yeah. Is it, can we jump? Because I do want to maybe touch on medical cannabis just a little bit more. So do you ever have a situation where, because of those side effects that someone might have with a stimulant, that, as a treating doctor, you have to essentially wean them off the stimulant onto medical cannabis? Is that a practice that, some doctors who have the requisite expertise will do, or is that a bit of a no-go?
So that's a really tricky one. So anytime I do anything with cannabis, it's overlapping with ADHD is really in conjunction with the patient's treating team. So it's a really individualized approach. So I always tell my patients that I'm treating the patient, I'm not treating the condition. So
Yeah.
you have to listen
I
to
do
your
know
patient
doctors.
and all the comorbidities that go along with it. So they might have chronic pain, they
I
might
wonder
have
if Dr. Riley
ADHD,
has something on
anxiety,
this.
depression, and they might be on a multitude of different medications or different treatment modalities. And you actually have to work very closely with the treating team. So one of the problems with some of the cannabis access clinics is that it allows the patient to choose their therapy, and there's not that correlation with that treating team. So, it's not uncommon that I see patients that are taking, smoking 4 grams of cannabis per day, and they've got
Whoa.
ADHD, and it's just making their ADHD significantly worse. Or
Mm.
patients with chronic pain who are prescribed high doses of
Cody, I really don't know what
THC
you're talking
oil
about.
or THC flower, when the chronic pain is driven by their ADHD and their hyper focus on their chronic pain. And it's actually making their ADHD symptoms worse when they think that it's helping.
And
So,
CBD in that instance would be far more helpful because it wouldn't exacerbate the symptoms quite so much potentially. Is that?
yeah, so there was a study that just came out in May of this year, which showed that concurrent use of CBD with THC actually spared parts of the limbic system, which is the system in the prefrontal cortex, which controls that emotion regulation and that impulsivity. So,
All right, you guys. This is a very long thing. I'm not going to sit here for another 20 minutes watching this guy talk. I don't even know who he is. Let's look at him up. In this week, we talked to Dr. Bryce Johnson from Innovative Medicine. Like, what the fuck is Innovative Medicine? Is one of Australia's leading minds in the neurodiversity space. His goal is to empower education, foster understanding of ADHD and autism. Huh. ADHD GP. Cannabis in Australia. Anxiety. What's his, officials? Dr. Bryce. Leading minds about me. Neuroaffirming. He wrote this. For the assistance. It's also very weird. Dr. Bryce is also registered as one of Australia's first general practitioners. All right, well, I'm going to invite a doctor on and see what they have to say about it. Okay, you guys? That's what we're going to do. In reference to the music, let's go back to the main sesh. We're going back to the main sesh, and I guess I'm going to lower my IQ some more. Shall we lower our IQs together? Let's all lower our IQs and make our ADHD worse. I love it. I don't want to take your Adderall. I don't want to. Sorry. Okay, so we're gonna do one more to boop, and then I'm gonna go. It's the end of the show. And it's time to go. Ice my doggy's little knee. That's what we're gonna do today. That's the main sesh, right? We're on the main. Oh, it's going to go slowly. Wait. I don't want to do that. Let's go one. Boop. Oh, it got a little hot. That's okay. What's everyone saying? Boop. Good night. It's a time to go to sleep, everybody. It's the last boop. It's the last boop tonight. Double click it or get a ticket. And I'm gonna ice Bonbon's knee. And I'm gonna drink some more water. And I'm gonna wash my face. Put on my creams on my face. I'm gonna go to bed. Your share was so on point yesterday. I don't think so. I think it needed a little work. My voice is okay. Gotta go, guys. These are my club members. If you want to join my Patreon, there's a pinned link in the comment in the chat. I would really appreciate it. Thank you for all the chat. Elf Rider Rock, Cannabis Cowboy, The Chef House 65, Adam Drown, Sergeant Donovan, Jason Jones. You guys are awesome. All right. No sesh on Saturday.